All right. Alrighty. Oh, let me see what we got there. Do. Just getting started here, everyone. Waiting for the stream. Welcome, everybody. I want to make sure you guys can see me. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. All right. Uh, Live and direct from Denver at the Reserve. I'm in the top VIP floor as there's a bit of a session down there. And I kind of thought this is going to be a little hard to start Hash Church with a lot of people puffing a lot of hash, but super stoked. Had the most amazing trip. We're going to get into it. I want to obviously start out by welcoming everyone and announcing that this is Hash Church season 12, episode 20. Episode 20. Jesus Christ, we're almost halfway through the year. This is incredible. Got a bunch of guests in today. I got Scott from Puffco, the main rep down here, who's absolutely the most knowledgeable and amazing Puffco dude ever. His homies here as well. We're going to bring them both up. At one point, Adam Dunn's going to be here. I did his show the other day. Kyle from the Reserve and Extract Cellar is here. We got Scully vibes in the house. And then we're going to have a conversation with Jen Doe about something she found um, in her hash. So, first of all, as always, let's shout out the people that make the difference. Our sponsors. Let's shout out our sponsors. Elevate your session at Hash Church. That's what they say. You can elevate your solventless game at Hash Church, actually, with the Press Club's top notch lineup of rosin extraction essentials. Proudly supporting the community through really top tier tools that make clean, potent concentrates a breeze. From their legendary rosin bags with the proprietary pink stitch and the zero blowout guarantee for unbeatable durability and yield, really to award-winning wash bags, premium parchment paper, pre-pressed molds, and the innovative Press Club rosin press for precise heat and pressure control. Whether you're crafting at home or scaling up, their ISO swab stations and collection plates keep your setup spotless and efficient, all crafted with 100% food grade dye-free nylon for contaminant-free results that really preserve those precious volatile organic compounds. You can join the Press Club in championing Hash Church by heading over to the pressclub.co today and gear up for the next epic session. I believe they have a code, Hash Church 10, that you can use over there, and that should give you a little bit of loving. And also, there we go. I like that second logo that I just showed there. We got to go over that again one time. So, Puffco, Jesus Christ, these guys have been lacing me up. They're such good dudes. The whole company is just really, it's completely impressed me. And we're going to bring those guys up here soon. But in the meantime, at Hash Church, we do talk a lot about ritual, respect for the plant, elevating the experience, all those things. And that's exactly why we're pretty proud to be supported by Puffco. Puffco continues to set the standard for modern consumption, obviously, with tools built for people who truly care about flavor, temperature, and intentional use, from the Puffco Peak Pro with the 3D XL bowl, delivering consistent heat, bigger hits, and unmatched terp expression, to the Proxy, redefining modular ritual-based consumption, and the Pivot, bringing true Puffco performance into a compact, everyday format. These aren't gadgets. They're purpose-built tools for hash and solventless, and we're genuinely grateful for Puffco's continued support of Hash Church and our community, our guests. Their belief in education, culture, and quality really does help keep those conversations alive. You can support the brand that supports the culture by visiting puffco.com, explore their lineup, and experience what intentional design really feel like. Puffco, man, come on, elevate the ritual. Well, I would be remiss not to mention my own company. I just because fuck, we're awesome too. Support bubble bags. We're the OGs, man. We came at this in '99. We've been teaching you about water extraction and 8-bag kits and 90 micron and full melt. And we've got Skunkman Sam as my mentor, who's one of the foundations of this, the everything that I was doing, even though I didn't know it at the time. You can support us simply by going over to bubblebag.com and exploring our lineup. Check it out. If there's something we can do for you, give us a call. We're happy to do that. We do wholesale as well, so feel free to reach out if you got a store and you want to support the OGs. A lot of rip-offs these days, $50 bags and whatnot. Hard to compete with, but hey, if we can help you, we're happy to help you. So right on. Okay, here we go. I got everything going. I just want to make sure I am on the last day of my trip here in Denver. I have been here for about a week. And so that's pretty awesome. I did a week in Michigan with Papa Sif, which we talked about a little bit last week, just as I got here. That was an amazing event. Shout out to the whole team at Yield Distro who's helping operate and run the Bubble Man brand. Shout out to Steve and Sarah and Papa Sif, Ryan Walls, for the amazing work and awesome, just awesome hanging out with Ryan for the week there in Michigan. That was my first trip. And I'm looking forward to doing one here soon to Illinois, my first trip to go meet those partners. Obviously, I know Dred smokes weed, but meeting up with Marshall and the team will be very good. And then I'm going to be back here at the reserve for the Terps and Tallow dinner that Kyle and I are doing on June 6th. So you can check out that dinner if you want to come hang out. It is not a cheap dinner, I won't lie. But what it really is it's going to be an incredible experience here at the reserve. It's going to be around 7 p.m. till around 2 a.m. We've got 4 of the top 10 Masters of Rosins placements. So we've got Stu from Minor Melts, who took second. We got Lulu Melts, who took first. We got Nick from Portal Provisions. I believe he took eighth. And then I think it was Terps Over Yield who took fourth. They were all over here the other day. We were smoking all their hash. It was absolutely wonderful and delicious. So their hash will be on display, and you'll be able to puff their hash as you come by. They're going to have their own little kind of booths around the reserves. I saw that you're coming, Goat the Gardens. I look forward to hanging out with you, dude. I will be hosting the party with Kyle, and it's going to be baller, dude. This place is so ridiculous. Like, I can't even tell you. It's just really wonderful. I mean, check this out. We could walk outside right now from being inside, and we could go be in downtown Denver, just like that. Look at that. We're in downtown Denver. Baseball field is right there. Look at that. Look at the baseball. How fucking cool that is, dude. Are you setting vapor on smooth, bold, or intense? That is a good question, Young. Most of mine are set on extreme, but one of them is set on intense. And I got these settings from the Puffco rep, Scott, who's downstairs. Maybe I'll have him come up and he can talk about that a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right. So, one sec. We're going to call Scott up here because it's time for him to come share with us. Let's see if I can get his attention. We'll go ask him real quick. Hey, Scott, you want to pop up here? There's the boys. What's up? You bring some bagels? Does the bear shit in the woods? Actually, if you hang out in the woods, he actually shits on the trail more often than in the woods. Apparently. All right, come up when you get a chance, Scott. Press Club. The workshop was awesome, dude. I was really stoked on the workshop. Obviously, low temper, awesome people. Shout out to Levi. Shout out to Kenzie, Matt, Cliff, all of the above. It was really, really cool. It was a nice, not overly like full class. I think there was maybe 15 or 16, maybe 17 people in the room total. I think, some of them were from Puffco, some of them were, I had a friend there. And there were maybe like 12 or 13 people who took the class. And it was great. It was the most like totally like arcing overall. It was the most complete class I've ever put together. I wrote a 68-page document to go through the class. And then, of course, I did a presentation on the history of bubble hash. That's what I opened it up with. Then I did a photo essay of the 45 macro photos. How well this will work if I take these AirPods off. See what kind of phone I have. And then if it's terrible, can you guys hear me okay? Make sure I'm okay. I guess we don't really have anyone else talking to hear right now other than ourselves. So maybe we could each just wear one of these here, and you can put that in your right ear whenever you get a chance. Scott's just organizing his goods here. Here, you know what? You have so much stuff. Why don't I go here and we'll flip these to the other side and I'll give it to you. I'll take that one. I noticed some of them close.
Oh, fair.
Okay. Spots in the house, dude. Introduce yourself to that. That's Scott. Really, only a couple trips ago.
Yeah.
Like maybe 2 months maximum. With Puffco. We see his collection. It's actually got drawers of every piece. All the rare tops, all the custom tops. Anyway, Scott's still. Yeah.
Hey, big. Somebody clip that and send that to my boss, please.
So
Oh, like they're saying the audio's cutting out. Uh-oh, hold on.
sound check.
Sure.
Well, my computer. How about now? Let's see that. Your default microphone was changed to MacBook app microphone. Sound, check the chat. I'm reading the chat. Do we have
It's down here? You can click on the audio.
Sound sucks, right? Where?
Right
Here, I'll let
on
you
the
do.
Zoom thing. Let's see here.
Yeah, so audio settings, noise
MacBook Air
removal, MacBook.
microphone.
Just take out the, what is he saying? Just take out the what?
Take out the AirPods. Okay. Can you hear now? They said good, much better, better.
Okay, so
we're good.
maybe this
Sick.
isn't the best way to do it.
Okay. Dope. All right.
All right, so I gave
Oops.
Scott his flowers and nobody heard, but it's recorded, so you can go back and listen to it. So someone asked a question. It was a good question. Oh, it was about the settings on the Puffco, and he asked my buddy Bingo, do you set yours on extreme, intense? He went through the 4 options. Would you be able to explain that? Because I don't think a ton of people are doing that in the back end of their Puffcos.
Sure, totally. So what those vapor control settings actually do is it's like whenever you guys torch a banger, right? Like if you just torch the bottom or like just torch it a little bit, it's not going to retain that heat and like maintain that super strong temperature. So those vapor modes can just increase your vapor without really increasing the overall temperature that the chamber is, right? So whenever I'm on like a lower temperature dab, I like to go intense mode because then like I like clouds, right? I like to get like a nice, thick milky hit. So I generally go intense. Like my lower setting is probably around like 500, 510. And then you can even bump it up to like my highest setting, I'll go down to like bold or something like that to avoid chazzing my chamber, especially if I'm smoking like full melt or like a really nice rosin. I don't want to go in at like 560 on something like that anyway. So I think anytime you're north of like 560, I'd bump it down from intense to bold just to avoid any chazzing complications you might have.
Dude, that's good information. And I've been puffing Puffcos for like 10 years, and I didn't know that. Even when you were like, let me set your settings up for Kyle the other day, I copied them all.
Hey,
Yeah,
right?
like I need to figure it out.
Totally. I mean, that's one cool thing in the app too, right? The app, you can actually share settings between people. If you go into like your different settings that you have, you've got one, you're like, this is the best setting I've ever used. There's a share function. You can share it amongst your friends, like text message, Discord, Instagram, DM, anything like that. So if you've got like, this is the setting that I know is like super dialed for me, and I use a Pearl in mine. I use a power pack cap in mine. So it's like with different airflows, come different preferences, right? So the whole thing about Puffco is being able to dial in your experience and maintain a consistent experience, right? So like whenever you're torching a banger, right, you've got a very short peak where it's like right at, 550, 540, whatever you're going in at, right? The advantage with the Puffco is that you can dial it in and you can keep it there for up to 2 minutes, right? So it's really, we're trying to customize your experience as much as you can. So if you want to hit it down for 1 minute and 45 seconds, you can. If you want to hit it for 35, you can, and it'll maintain that temperature and maintain a consistent experience for you throughout. So I think it's great. Like we've got, rig dabs downstairs, but it's like on the go, especially with the link now too. Like I just really, really love like what these devices can do. And the different types of effects you can get.
Hell yeah, dude. Town 5 Skunk. Happy birthday, dude. Go rip out that
Happy
amaretto sour.
birthday. Let's go.
Hell yeah. James, can you ask when there will be a wireless charging cup for the Proxy?
I don't think the Proxy doesn't have the wireless charging capability in the base. So I don't think that there will be one. What I do recommend is like you can get very affordable and very efficient power banks on Amazon or like other. I know the
That was
light's weird.
trippy.
The
That
light's
was
weird.
so
I know,
trippy,
right?
dude.
But yeah, like Amazon, like different places have like super good power banks that are like super fast, super safe, super efficient. So it's like, I'd recommend getting one of those. And also like with the new Proxy, with the pivot, you can plug that into your phone and your phone will charge
Dude,
it.
I use that all the time.
So it's like when I go to a concert, a baseball game, anything like that, I have my Proxy plugged into my phone. It looks like a charger, and then I'm able to consume hash wherever I want.
So I discovered this by accident. I was on Whistler Mountain. Now Whistler Mountain has charge stations, but you have to leave it there, right?
Yep.
And then so
Then you can't have it.
I got my phone and my cable, and for whatever reason, I'm just like I just plugged it into my pivot, and it just started charging. And I thought, oh my god, this is the fucking. I'll burn. I mean, I hit the core now, not the pivot. But when I was using the pivot, I'd kill it like 3 times over the course of a like
Sure.
5+ hour.
Totally.
Because I'm smashing it, dude.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
taking fucking 10 dabs at a time or whatever. But
Well, when you're on the mountain, you're sharing, other people are hitting too sometimes.
yeah, no, exactly. I feel like I missed another quartz beats ceramic, right? Okay. Yes and no, for sure. I mean, listen, quartz bangers, absolutely. I would say you're right, does beat a banger, but I have that unit you're talking about, and the first day that I opened it and I pulled out one of those quartz inserts that you're talking about, and it shattered in my fingers. It was paper fucking thin. So personally, I don't think that is better than ceramic. A quartz banger, I love and prefer, but I honestly don't even know if that's more. I would love to start having Puffco blind taste tests on people like like testing the Puffco against other units, testing the Puffco at different temperatures. Because I think people assume they know things to a certain level, but I think blind, it wouldn't be quite the same, for everyone.
And I think also it doesn't have to be one or the other. I think it's tools in a tool belt. I have control towers, Quave bangers, rigs at home, and I've got Puffcos as well and links and stuff. Like, I don't think you have to choose. For me, it's like tools in a tool belt and whatever
No.
the situation calls for. I'm
It's
just
the-
trying to smoke hash with my friends as much as I
No,
can.
fuck that. It's the cannabis industry. You have to
You
choose,
have
dude.
to choose and you have to be angry about it. Be angry.
What's up, Kyle? Or
Hey, Kyle.
Colin?
Colin?
Nothing, bro. And
Oh,
yo,
it's
you
been a
have to be
while.
right about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Look into my eyes.
Fucking vessel in the house, bro. Vessel in the house.
No, we all got to love each other more, man. And we got to understand that there's a big world out there that we may not be preview to, like everyone's so in their own world. And yeah, man, it's like a big world of little pockets of people that are doing things that you're just not aware of. I see it all the time with music and other mediums, if you will, out there. And it's no different with cannabis, man.
Totally.
Clones that you thought were gone or not, and things that you thought maybe out there in the wild that are lost or still here. So, love one another and respect one another. It's too often we divide and this guy's better than that guy, and life's too short for that stuff, man. Like if that's your vibe, cool.
There we go. Yeah, and it's like same team too, man. We all love
Yeah.
the plant. We all love the plant. We all love the community around it. And so like, I want to support everybody that's doing great work. I love Bullman's hash. I love all the buddies hash downstairs. It's like we have such a great community. We have so much talent, so much artistry in the community.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love hash.
Thank you. I appreciate
This guy
it.
brought me
I
like
feel good.
6 jars of fresh press today.
Dude, some of my favorite stuff is fresh press, honestly, and I love seeing it transform through the different stages because you
Yeah.
get different volatility,
Oh yeah, it definitely
different
changes.
profiles,
Dude, also the dude from Legends in LA a few years ago from Skunk OK who won.
Oh, no shit.
His brother came and he gave me 7 jars yesterday. He took my course.
Big shout out to both those guys. I met them. I took third that year. Those guys were awesome people, and I just remember really connecting with them just because they were. He's like, I just showed up. I didn't really because I almost left. Honestly, I almost was like, Addison, I'm out. Like, I'm not winning. Like, like, I'm here to just have fun. And he's like, no, like, I think you should stay. And same with that other cat. And I just remember his energy was so awesome, and he had many different types of resin with him that he's very talented. I mean, and he has a cool crew of people out there. So I hope wherever he's at today, he's expanding on his craft because he was on it, man. Like that was a few years ago. So I'm sure he's gotten even better, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna go downstairs. For some reason, this thing, I keep getting this super loud sound up here. Sorry, Scott. Gotta carry all this shit. Check this out, Colin.
Dude, that vent, nice. Oh, no way. That's really cool.
You
Just
gotta
a
come to
baby
the
grand
reserve.
hanging
You
on
gotta
a
come to the
on a
reserve, Kyle or Colin. You gotta come,
I'm
dude.
coming out. Yeah, I'll have to come out. That's rad. I want to get on those keys.
Yeah, I would love for you to get on these keys, dude. Like you should come up for the Terps and Tallow dinner, bro.
When's the date on it?
June 6th.
Yeah.
Wow, they all left. This is amazing, dude. We could just sit right back down. Here, look at our little spot here. I'll show you real quick. Look at this. Look at the
This place
tables
looks,
he's
love
got
that
set
brick
up.
wall. It's
Oh,
awesome.
dude, not just brick walls. Like it's all this. These are all Vincent
What
Gordon
what was
originals.
the oh wow, those are great. What was this venue? Was it like a restaurant or something? Like what
Dude, I have no
how is
idea.
it
It
so
was like
decked
some
out?
art thing or something. You
The
can take a
elevator,
massage chair in this super futuristic massage chair.
play the piano while I sit in that.
Yeah, we'll put that up in the piano for you, and so you
The
can
dap
sit on
right
that.
next to me.
All right, here, I'll put this here. We'll get next to each other again. Pulling this off. It's interesting that I'm on your side and you're on my
I
side.
know. I like to flip this.
That's pretty trippy, actually.
Right?
There we go.
Weird.
There we go. So we're just having fun. Yeah, we got a bunch of people here. I have no, oh, they're out on the back deck. We probably will have to move again when they come in here, but
Go to the pool table.
All good.
we could go to
So
the pool
does the
table
elevator
downstairs.
go is that the first floor or second floor, guys?
This is the second floor. Actually, you know what? When they all come out here, me and him are going to jump in that elevator and we're going to go down to the pool table room. And then we'll set up the computer and we'll do hash church while we play some pool. This place is so much fucking fun, dude.
Cool.
It's a good hang.
Go to Gardens. That place looks expensive. No, dude, super
Right?
cheap, dude.
Yeah. Well, and he's
do
like,
a
it's
live-
great. We come here before Rockies baseball games too, because the baseball stadium's just right outside. We're like right outside left field at Coors Field. And so come here, sesh up right before the game, then just walk across the street, catch a baseball game, come back. It's great. The location here is awesome.
That's cool.
It is. People from Colorado that come here, Colin, are literally blown away. They're like, what the fuck? You know, because
I know.
for instance, last night it was like 11:30 at night, maybe 12, and it's very busy here. The bars are kind of hopping and people are walking back and forth. Kyle's like, let's load up let's roll some cannons, and I'm gonna bring my nice chairs outside, and we're gonna sit out on the front street because he has a private gated front street area, and we just sat out there puffing joints, which is illegal in Denver unless you're in your house, which we were in Kyle's house. Like just
Nice.
it
That's
was
great.
amazing. Dude. Yeah, it was one of the
So
best vibes.
yeah, I was gonna ask because I remember talking to Adam Dunn about it, and he was like, Denver's dope, but I just, I can't do these events like I'm used to. And sounds like that's kind of shifting a little bit, right? Does that sound it feels like there's now venues that you can do sessions at. Um, is that kind of changing over there now that you know things have evolved a little bit in the world?
I
Like
think
how's
Kyle
it?
said, I mean, he could speak to it better than me because I don't live here in regards to that. But I know that Kyle's created this as a private residence. So it's
Okay.
totally different. He's throwing like parties with his friends kind of thing. It's not like a public venue.
Yeah, because like in New York, it's sort of like that where you can have, as long as it's a private event, there's social consumption can happen,
Sure. And
you know,
they've been a little more
which is
relaxed
cool.
with like the cannabis like lounge licenses here too. We've seen more of those popping up over like the past year or two. But I
Mhm.
still think it's like it's technically illegal to like smoke a joint on the sidewalk walking through downtown or like in a
Got it.
public space
Right
where
on.
other people are.
Yep.
But when you do, I've never been stopped or questioned or anything. It's also like pretty common. So it's like I think it's one of those kind of like look the other way. As long as you're not being like a nuisance, they'll kind of leave you alone.
Got it. Right on.
Have a
Let's
dab.
kind of.
Have a dab, Colin.
I'm gonna do that right now. It's
No, I'm
just.
giving you one, dude. Fucking
Oh, you're
take
gonna
it,
hook.
bro.
Can I just get in? Let me
Yeah, there you
see
go.
virtually. Can AI get to the physical world yet?
I
All
think
right.
so. All my friends are talking about it and driving me nuts.
Man.
It seems pretty physical.
I know, right? It
Dude, you got to
seems
get on
logical.
AI, bro. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stick to this hash making thing. I've been doing it 30 years. I feel confident in it. I've betted on it time and time again. Um, I'm happy to use anything as a tool, like this, for instance. You know what I was going to mention is these dudes
Yeah,
are on the level of like the
like this.
highest connoisseur level, like the way it used to be with ships and torches and, everyone's got all this great. It's amazing to see that that's happening with Puffcos now. Like literally, we were hitting the link last night through one of Kyle's glass pipes. We should actually probably pull out a link here in a bit.
Sure. I brought you a
With
little
oh
coat.
my God,
I was
dude.
just thinking
Look at
about the
Scott's
link.
goat, dude.
Oh, hell yeah. Whose works this? Who's
It's
the goat?
Robertson.
Oh, Robertson. Oh,
Look at this fucking thing, dude.
look at this guy.
Look at this
The
fucking thing.
back of the head. I like it. Hell yeah.
He's so fucking talented.
I like the giraffes too. Those are cool.
Oh, thank you.
You want a bagel?
No, I'm totally joking.
Oh, dude.
Busting your balls.
I'll give you half this if you want.
Dude, I know. It's not funny if you just be nice. What? All right. Anyway, yeah, a
I went
little
out. I
little
went to
bit
do
about
some gardening today in the morning, and I found like 7 or 8 volunteers just popping up. So
volunteers.
yeah, just like little seedlings that you look down,
Oh.
and you're like, oh, look at these guys.
Hey, what are you doing down there?
What are you doing here? Who put you here?
I always think when I see a plant like that, um,
I'm gonna leave them.
I'm always thinking like, oh, I wonder if there's magic in there. I remember my friend Felix, he was Owl Genetics back in the days in Switzerland. I can't remember exactly where in Switzerland he lived, but it was like north of Lugano. And I went to his little outdoor grow, and he had a beautiful little cliffside outdoor grow in the semi-south of Italy or Switzerland near the Italian border.
Hmm.
And he would make water hash, and he had this big pile sort of over by this. It almost looked like a barbecue area that was all done in a rock wall, but there was no barbecue or anything. It was just the rock wall, and he did all this water hash in there, and then dumped all of his flour behind it. And he must have had like 400 pounds of dumped, weed. And I got there, and there was like 150 plants growing out of it just in all directions. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, that's my water hash crop. I smoke the
Yeah.
flour and I make seeds and dry sift with this. And just this, he's like, the first time I ever did water hash, it grew me a whole crop. And I
Yeah.
turned it into water hash the next year. And that's what he does every year. His water hash grows out of his water hash graveyard where he
That's
makes his water hash.
essentially what this is. This is my water hash graveyard. Honestly, that's what it is. Straight up. That's literally where these seeds came from, which is funny because I was like, huh, I wonder which ones that these are. Like I started rifling through my head. I was like, oh, I watched this. I watched that. I'm like, it could be any one of these 14 varietals. I don't know.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
I like how you
that's,
called them volunteers.
yeah, because they just like volunteered to come up for some reason. And it's late too, brother. Like, I watched those all winter. Like they've just been sitting there.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Oh my goodness, I'm what a whirlwind tour, man. That was really fun yesterday doing that class. Low temp
So
had everything set up so good. Their tools are so nice. Everything's so nice.
what did
But
you so tell me about it. Like what did you you know how, how did you go through the class? Like,
I opened the
you know?
class with the history on water extraction. I wanted everyone to know about Ed Rosenthal, Neville, Skunkman Sam, Reinhard Delp, Mila. myself and anyone else who kind of played a part in the history of it. Because my history is just the history I learned. I'm not trying to manipulate it or put it in favor of. It's just the story that we should know because it's cost me fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn it, dude. Like, holy Christ. Those lawyers were absolutely spectacularly expensive. So I opened up with the history of water hash, kind of how I fit into it, a little bit of my story. Then I did like a 50 to 60 photo, macro photo from seed to resin, showing them the bitumen off the cotyledons, showing them all the first set of leaves, the trichomes on the epicotyl coming out of the cotyledon, like just kind of giving them all the terms. And when you have the terms and you have the pictures and you have it in your mind, like for me at least, I could start searching for these things and understanding, like, because before I knew the term glandular trichome, everyone called them trichromes. They were like, it's trichromes, bro. And if you search trichromes, like you'll never find anything. Right? Like when I started searching glandular trichomes, I found university papers doing mint extracts. I found like 100 different cultivars or different types of species of plants that secrete essential oils in glandular trichomes.
Yep.
But, not having the right language, trichromes. Do you remember a single person calling it anything but trichromes? Dude, that's
No.
how old we
And
are, bro. Dude, look
yeah,
at the
no.
trichromes, bro. Every once in a while,
Look at
someone
it.
super intelligent that I know will say trichromes, and I'll be like, whoa, what are you saying, dude?
Yeah.
There's no R. It's not chrome.
Yeah.
No
It's not a
chrome.
chrome. We're not making rims here.
We're not making rims. But I definitely remember saying trichrome for certain.
100%. I think we all said and did a lot of things that were wrong, like I think the way,
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I never said that.
like, I don't know, I thought back about how I used to dry stuff and it just evolves, you learn and there was no one at the time to tell us no or that's wrong. You kind
Right.
of had to just figure it out.
Hey, man, are you
Um,
listening?
and I think that's the beauty of where we're at today is that there's so many people. As I relate a lot to music, it reminds me of like beat making, where like people are like, I figured out how to sidechain, learn how to sidechain this way. And there's all these different ways to do these different techniques together. Hell yeah. Um, and and it's nice today to see people sharing that work online. And that's what I love about it is that we have a sense of community through creation. And we get generally excited to when someone else makes something, it gets you to go into your lab or your workspace and come out with something that you've made that's inspired by that, which
Absolutely.
is such a cool call and response to to the work and the work ethic and just being so into chasing that, because we're all chasing sort of the same idea, but we're kind of how we get there is slightly different, which I kind of love, man. It's like the tools, everyone's got a different setup, different RPMs,
Well, that's interesting that you
you
say
know,
that because in teaching the class yesterday, one of the things I really found the most difficult was, you know, there's so many ways to do it. And
yeah,
I said, look, and part of what makes you guys passionate about this, which I would never want to take away, is how you change little things to make it yours.
yeah,
To connect to it even more, right? The hash making,
yeah,
whatever, all that. I use a different technique. It's like, exactly. So
yep,
when you're teaching a class like that, the other thing is, am I teaching the hash maker that wants to take 10 times longer and make it 10 times more expensive to make a few grams of the best hash in the world?
yeah,
Or am I also teaching the hash maker how you keep your job is by making sure your investors and your owners and your bosses are creating margins on at least some products. So you can't
yeah,
just create, like, we just want to do 90 micron specific melts. We want to
right,
do, like the most insanely low margin, high cost product. So I was
yep,
simultaneously kind of teaching about trying to teach the hash maker, like, look, when we were getting into freeze drying, I did a whole hour and a half on freeze drying yesterday, dude. I went
yeah,
super deep on the direction of the pull of the vacuum, the temperature of basically the three variables, pull,
yeah,
temp, and time, and how much hash you put in creates more pressure in the vessel. And we just went super deep on it. And it was like, holy shit, dude. Like, you can go deep down that rabbit hole. That was probably my favorite part of the course, was the freeze drying component. I just made notes, like a 68-page note document.
Yep.
And in the end, I was like, I'm going to give it to all. I told the students at the start of the class, I said, I'll just give this to you. And then you don't have to like worry about like taking notes and you know what I mean? Like I'll just, the whole thing, point by point, everything I spoke on is in a document. And
Yeah.
it's a fun
Yeah.
document, dude.
It's an
Freeze-dryer
amazing
setting.
subject. It's such a cool subject because it's I always say that's in contemporary hash, that's kind of where defines your marker, in quality, because you've done all this work up until this like very definitive moment.
Dude, we're
And
the dryers. That's
you
what
can
we've always
either you can either over dry it, under dry it,
Right.
like there's all these
Yeah.
there's
Which
these
is the best
choices.
way to learn where the sweet spot is. I was
100%.
I was telling them,
Yeah,
like, don't be afraid to make mistakes, but make sure if you're making your worst mistakes, it's not on someone else's dollar. And a lot of the hash
100%.
makers were like, I have good ideas, but my boss doesn't necessarily want to listen to me. And I said, I can get your boss to listen to you, no problem. He said, how? I said, tell your boss you have an incredible idea. You want to implement the idea. Give him $100,000. And if you lose him any money, he can take it out of the 100K. So then your idea is paid for by you instead of him. And he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, that's true. I get it. Like, he didn't see it from the perspective. So what I want to do is I want to connect the hash maker to
Yeah.
the owner
Well
mentality.
put.
So they're not doing this,
Totally.
right? But they're kind of doing this. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like,
So
because we
the
can
other
still make podium products. You just can't do it at a loss of a margin and in a non-economically viable way.
And here's another thing that I would recommend, and I do this myself even to this day as an owner. I do it on my own time, outside of the company, outside of the thing, the outside of the concept, whatever it might be. If you're a grower, it's running plants on your time, on your dime, to then maybe one day bring into an end table, to then add a couple more plants to that to see how that does, to then maybe take over a half a table, to then fully take over a room. But not many people are willing to do that type of work. So you have to select and keep selecting and do it on, as Marcus said, on your dollar, unless you want to give someone else the money. Because yeah, that variability of loss is too great. So do the runs and then bring it in. And then you have the data, you have the, call it the risk mitigation that owner is looking for. And then you can actually bring new things. It's the only way. I wouldn't recommend just going for it, because you're ultimately, like Marcus said, you're going to lose time and time again.
Yeah.
So yeah, because it's to your point, like freeze drying, you can, length is not your enemy. It's how well do you understand when you're pulling the heater on off at what mTOR. You could
Well, it's
do
the relationship between
you
all
know
three of them, really. It's that's the key. A lot of people don't understand it, which is
sh-
fine because you can
yeah,
fake it till you make it by just getting settings from a
yeah,
post or a group. And once you get
totally.
those settings, if you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna go, you can just, it's just direction. It makes it a little harder when there's a third variable, because if there's
Yeah,
just two, it's just going back and forth. Obviously, when there's that third one, it's also going up and
yeah,
right. And then you got to really hit it right in the middle.
yep,
As I get older, I realize everything has a sweet spot. And the only
yeah,
way to discover it is by being aware enough that you even recognize the variables. And once you can recognize the variables, then you just tune them in. You're like,
yep.
oh, that's to what, to this, to that. Play
Hmm.
around for a while. Maybe it takes a year, maybe it takes a week. What a fun journey.
Yeah, I mean, we all failed until you don't fail anymore, and then you fail differently, right? So that's kind of the gist of it. So you have to be willing to try things, and be comfortable with that. And I think you're nailing it. Because you can't build a business in hash making with that mentality that you and I both grew up on, basically, which was what we get is what we
That's the
get.
thing. I know, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, you remember when we were just like happy we got something from the bags? Like, it was,
Yeah.
I don't think people realize, like, it's evolved for, I
Dude,
think,
I
for
talked about
you and
it.
I like this in such a different way,
Not
because we
only did
look
we get
at it
shitty
so differently now.
yields, not only did we get shitty yields, often it had no taste.
Yes.
Because so much of the how much can we get and how fast can we get it, which is based on prohibition for like
Yeah.
almost 100 years, that created a focal point on how people bred and sold and used cannabis specifically, which led us into this: how much THC is there and how much does it cost, right? It's been prohibition
Yeah.
has been responsible. Now we have something different, which I've been talking about a little bit since I've been here. We have all these young hash makers crossing plants and, pheno stumbling, as Chimera might call it, right? And I get it. Like, yeah, those genetics, you put them in large grows, they're probably not going to produce, which is kind of an amazing thing, that the hash makers who are growing these things in tents and on much smaller levels are almost protected from some of these flavor profiles getting into bigger companies, because the genetics would, I think when you breed specifically for flavor and wash amounts, then you are obviously dropping the ball on resistance to insects, resistance to powdery mildew, viruses, bacteria, fungi, right? Like the plant, those are things that you have to strengthen and build in the plant through proper breeding. And no one in the hash making world is doing that. They're like just, making these beautiful crosses of incredibly awesome
No.
flavors. And it kind of protects it from ever going to a larger scale because of the way these plants are just being crossed, right? It's not like it's a 3-year breeding project with 100,000 seeds, but they both have such value. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Skunk Man
Well,
Sam could take his skunk number 1 and plant 5 acres of it and get the greatest fucking hash off that shit that any of us have ever smoked. It melted my brain the first time I asked him, where do you think the
yeah.
best weed in the world, like what conditions do you think the best weed in the world grow? And he's like, oh, I could do it in a field. And I was like, a field? And even the word field, I was like field weed? It's like,
The
yeah,
field
dude,
with the
field
right
weed.
environment makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
I hear
Well, this
loud
is
and
25 years
clear.
ago when I asked him
Yeah.
this.
No, and he knows because, he's done the work with, his lines and he's put it together. And the thing I also often think about is it also goes both ways, because some of the things that we cherish so much in our cultural circles, like chems and sours and any of these offsprings of that are, as you said, things that we stumbled upon, right? These weren't intentional outcrosses that someone made. So I think, a blend of heterozygicity, of kind of what Sam's school of thought is, and this kind of, found object, if you will, of flavor, if you want to call it that we've kind of experienced from, I want to say, like the late 80s to the early 2000s, that moment of genetic kind of, there's just like this wonder years of genetics that we had between that decade. And I think that's the thing that, we're all kind of chasing still to this day, is that 15-year period, from late 80s to like 2003, if you will. So, I just think that we have to really kind of understand that there's a lot of work to do on the genetic side still, even with everyone doing all this work. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously both sides have to exist, especially when you think of, on the large scale of getting product out to the world. I just love this very tight hash community. Everyone's kind of like simultaneously following these unsaid rules. You got to have these jars, you got to have them wrapped like this. And
yeah,
it's just like a nice part of the culture. And it definitely feels like,
for sure.
I don't think it could grow as fast without this, because the
No.
rigs, I know a lot of us were willing to carry those around. It seems less and less people are willing to have torches, butane, isopropanol, dunk fucking tanks, dab rights, glass pipes, Pelican cases. Like, fuck, dude. It's like, it is a relief. Honestly, I will compare it to photography. The fact that these things have gotten so
Sure.
fucking good that my $5,000 DSLR camera is now a paperweight. You think I want to carry that fucking thing around with 9 lenses and 4 batteries and fucking my tripod that weighs 100 pounds because I do fucking macro photography? Oh, I better bring my macro lens and my MT24EX Canon dual flash, and I better fucking have all my chargers. Of course, I'm going to forget them behind, and that'll cost $150 every time I do it. Or I could carry this. This is to the DSLR as this is to the expensive glass rig.
It's
And
true.
you know what? They put out the link. They're like, hey, you know what? We'll give you the link. You can still do it. You can operate it with this. This is too fucking convenient.
The link is the digital back, right?
Dude, it's just too convenient. And you get such, yeah, exactly. You get such killer torches are awesome if you're at home and not an idiot. I haven't used a torch in like 2 years since I got a D-nail universal heater. My banger sits in that
I love a
24/7.
torch, but do you want to buy a box of gas? Like, I don't
No, I hate
way.
torches, dude. Why do you love a torch? It's fucking
I mean,
sounds
I
like
have a box of
smoking
gas, but
mad.
I don't buy it. Yeah.
You turn it on at a party and there's always someone like, oh, and you bring a whole group of people with torches and banger baskets and put them on beautiful wood tables like this. And then you spend $3,000 fixing said wood tables after Legends of Hash because of the damage that the alcohol and the fucking one girl lit her whole banger basket on fire with her fucking torch.
Yeah, the point that was like, that's also a fire hazard because
So listen, and I
drop.
told the story the other day. Remember when I only smoked with beeline?
Yeah,
I had the
I
the
do.
the hemp twine with the beeswax, and well,
I
I
was like
had a
that too,
big
bro.
ball of it, and I was taking dabs off the ball, and or
Hmm.
rips off the ball, and I hit a rip out of my bong, and then I'd shake it to put it out, and then I'd put it down next to my desk. Well, dude, like 4 minutes or 5 minutes later, my wife walks into my office to bring me lunch, and she goes, "Why is your desk on fire?" And I look over
No
at it,
way.
and that ball has like a 2 foot flame coming off of it. I was like, holy shit. This is like a dangerous, that was kind of the beginning of the end for me of using that.
Don't yeah.
I think
Don't.
another important thing
It's so
aspect of
fun.
that is like whenever you go home for Thanksgiving, you've got like the aunties and your grandma and shit like that. It's like if you are in the bathroom with a torch every like 15 or 20 minutes, some grandmas and aunties might be totally cool with that. But others might think it's a little weird and think like, for me, it's like this instead of being like something that makes people worry about you, it can start a conversation. It could be for somebody that's not used to hash, not used to dabbing, not used to torches, not used to bangers, and are like kind of skeptical of that. I think it can break down that barrier and start a conversation with them to where they're more open to it and they see it as not a hard drug or not something that's scary or not something that they should be worried about and something that might be a gateway for somebody who might not have otherwise stepped through it. And I think that's important for growing the space. I think taking down the fear and the wariness of people who see some of those accoutrements that maybe
Like a blowtorch.
to make them wary, right? You can't fly with it, you know? And so like if you can't freak out grandma and you can start a conversation with her and she can feel better about it and maybe one day take a dab with you, like that's progress to us, right? And again, like I said earlier, it's tools in a tool belt. No one's trying to replace a torch. Everybody here at Puffco and here we got rigs right off camera. Everybody hits rig dabs, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I can't hit them all the time. I can't hit them when I go with my wife and kid to a wedding, and I don't want my mother-in-law and father-in-law see me go away with a torch all the time. It's like I've got tools in my tool belt so that I can do what I want to do, which is smoke hash all the time with my friends. So I just saw some of the comments, so I just wanted to like throw that out there. Of like that's what I feel is important. It's like it's starting conversations and it's breaking down barriers so that we can be more mainstream, so that we can put more people on to our favorite hash maker. So we can put more people on to our favorite glass maker. So we can put people on to our favorite artists like Scully Vibes over here. It's like, that's what we want to do. We just want to put people on because we love it. Scully, say hi.
Hi, how's it going? Sorry. My bad. I'm like trying to figure out my iPad, so.
Yeah, that's what the reserve's about. We're
Dude,
just trying to put people on to the dope shit that we love, you know?
Dude, so well said in regards to it's all, and I've talked about this quite a bit. There were billions of dollars put into the propaganda against cannabis, and all of those things that got tied in there will always get the reaction of maybe creating worry in some of your loved ones rather than comfort and the Volcano was one of the first companies to design something that was so radically different that it didn't fit into the prohibition of cannabis. And they designed it for hospitals so people could have these bags in hospitals. And I think whether you guys tried or not, you designed these just enough that they don't stand out in public as a drug tool. They don't fit into the prohibition of cannabis. Like people don't be like, maybe this one, but even really not. But like the core, the pivot, absolutely not. Even the Proxy with the original pipe, I'd hit that shit at like my kid's soccer game, like all debonair, and I just hit it like it was a pipe and no one looked or anything. So, I mean, I'm in Vancouver, I'm in a very cannabis friendly spot, but I think that these do not create that discomfort. Like you said, they do create a conversation and a dialogue. And because it's so different and unique and futuristic, people listen, in Canada, it's federally legal. So that
Sure.
fits the mindset. Like 80% of the people that are like, I won't ever do that, they just go, oh, I'll try that now. And you'll be like, what? Well, yeah, I was never against it. It was just illegal.
Sure.
It's like, fuck, I kind of could have. It seemed like you were against it. Well, it's like I was because it was illegal.
Yeah.
I'm like,
totally.
okay, that's interesting. Like I've never been so fervent in listening to a law before.
Totally. And that's like the weird and complicated part of the states, right? It's like we're in Colorado right here where cannabis is completely legal, but one state over in Kansas, it's completely not. And so you always have to be aware and cognizant of where you're going. But another part of the Puffco is like you can fly with it. So like that's nice.
Dude,
The travel it
absolutely.
makes travel easy.
Listen, I like landing and having a tool that I can rip right away.
Totally.
That's what I loved. My first trip to Jamaica, we drove 5 minutes outside of the airport. Anyone that went to Jamaica in the 90s would know this. Probably still the same way. There was just a dude standing on the side of the road holding a big bud. And I was like, pull over, I want to see that. And I looked and it was actually like a nice bud. And I bought it off the guy and I was like driving down the road 5 minutes later, like rolling this weed. This was in like 95. I thought this is an amazing place. This is definitely a place I can get behind. How you doing, Fletch? Long time, brother.
How's it going, guys?
It's going good, dude. Are you back home now?
Yep, for a minute.
And then back to Hawaii?
No, I've been all over Michigan and
Dude,
doing
I was just in Michigan.
yeah.
We should have linked up in Michigan.
Yeah. I was there a couple weeks ago. I just been all around. I got a bunch of shit I'm moving around.
Okay. Yeah, I was just there maybe 10 days ago, so it was very close. I went to the exchange there. It was good. I'd never been there. I do prefer Colorado though, I will say. They got a
Yeah,
pretty
I mean it's Colorado's got the was first to market, but it looks like Michigan's taken over the reign in terms of smaller states that in terms of market share and continuing operations, I guess.
I
There's a
think
lot
we
of
can
people.
I think we can thank Ohio for a big chunk of that. My lab is next to Exclusive, which I think is the biggest dispensary or the busiest or most sale dispensary in the state. My lab is literally right next to it. It's painted like a cookies building. It's all blue, and I guess they were gonna do something with cookies.
In Monroe, I'm guessing.
In Monroe, giant
Yeah.
signs, welcome out of state, hundreds of cars in the parking lot, all Ohio plates. And my buddy was like, yeah, dude, this is why we're so big in Michigan. Like it's like, why do you think Oklahoma has the most dispensaries in all of the US, like thousands, because of the bordering states that aren't legal.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that'll quickly change though. I mean, as we've seen, I always make this point. It's only been 10 years since like there was a lack of weed everywhere and very few legal spots, and now you've already got overproduction and everything else quickly at everybody's heels. So it'll be interesting the next 5 years, I think, to see where it all ends up or what states end up with the best laws, cost of operations, et cetera, especially with Schedule 3 coming in, at least for medical operators.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of, well, and some of the states like are only medical, right? So I guess they gotta get their DEA export or whatever that license is, medical license through the
Yeah, well, I
DEA.
mean, theoretically, like Oklahoma is all medical.
Yeah.
So it's like, places like that may be able to take advantage of Schedule 3 coming online and them being able to export product or whatever it may be.
Sick.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
import.
They always like to export more than import. If they have
Well,
enough
I think
to
that's true
export.
for any business. I mean, if you look at any any industry, there's only two types of businesses that really work. There's local supply and then there's international distribution. Anything other than that, you kind of get eaten up in between because you're not accessing all the markets that want your product, but you're not really servicing your local people at whatever level they want.
Yeah, true story. Well, when are you going to get out to Colorado?
I'm not sure. You know, that high elevation, it's it's hard to live in a little bit.
Really? I think I spend so much time on top of Whistler Mountain that I don't feel affected by it at all.
Yeah, for me, like when I lived in Colorado, just the elevation and stuff and the dryness, especially in the wintertime, man,
That I feel.
it was just brutal.
The dryness I
So
feel.
dry.
The dryness I feel. I'm definitely like the inside of my nose is like a little bit sore.
That's my issue. And with weed allergies and then that kind of climate, oh man, it's you know, I got the chapstick out rubbing my nose instead of my lips.
100%, man. I've been
Well, we
there.
gotta just get you out for a couple of days for a visit one day. We'll do some fucking crazy shit at the reserve here.
Cool.
There's a mad session going on here. It's actually pretty impressive. Like these guys are fucking smashing dabs right beside me. This dude has not stopped since we got here. What pipe is that actually?
This is a Lurk the World.
Lurk?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Super fire.
Is it a duck?
Just like frog alien sculpture.
It's a frog alien sculpture, dude. Come on, you know better. Look, Scully's over here just fucking drawing up a storm. Yeah, got the crew here, man. We got the crew. Nice and mellow. So this is my last day after 2 weeks of traveling in the US, my longest trip here since I was able to come here 30 years ago. It was great, fun. Colorado's awesome. I quite like it. I'm not affected by the, I don't get the dizzy thing. I don't have the allergies, but I definitely feel the dry nose. But I can't let that stop me. It's too much fun. So after my course yesterday, I did a course with Low Temp Fletch. Just like a small little class at their facility. You know, going over washing and pressing and freeze drying and sort of lab and equipment setup and a couple other things, history and some photos. But it was pretty sick. Everyone's puffing the whole class through, and then at the end of it, I hit my buddy Kyle up and I'm like, hey man, I want to invite some of these dudes, you know, back to the reserve. And he's like, invite all of them, like all of them. So we had like a ton of them come back after the fucking the event last night, and we just smashed dabs for, my God, I think it was till midnight. It was really quite lovely. Reserve equals private Denver venue downtown for classy cannabis events. That is true, Kello Midi.
It's true.
That's Kello Midi.
Yep.
There's Katie. I pray you have safe travels home. Thank you, Katie. Guess I'm not going to see you again. I guess you're not coming over for
I
hash.
invited her.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, what the heck?
All right, Katie.
Katie.
I don't know. She might have messaged me and I probably forgot.
Fletch.
Jen Doe was going to come on today. I don't know if you guys saw her post of that weird shit she found in her hash. It was like
Oh, the remediation. Yeah, I've seen that before.
I don't know exactly
that
what it is. Everyone's guessing, I think.
it looks like I think it's stocks, but
Yeah.
anyway.
One guy said something that really resonated with me. He was like, I've seen that before when there were plants grown near the greenhouse that like release these little seedly things. And I remember seeing them one time too. They look like cystolith hairs. They kind of look like the same gland, except they're long and stretched out, but they don't have like that specific like sections of their body the way powdery mildew does.
It looks like Sicily hairs to me, but anyway, well, we should get it tested, man. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
See
she
who
was
can
going to come
figure
on
out
and
what it
talk
is.
about it. She started quite a conversation online. There was definitely like, look, nobody knows what it is, right? How
Mhm.
can you? You can guess. But there was a lot of good guesses. I was actually surprised as to the amount of guesses that people had.
Yeah.
Well, I think the real question is it part of the cannabis plant or is it something else?
Exactly. That is the question.
It's definitely the question.
That is, especially when the guy came in and said, I've seen that with weeds growing next to my plants before. They blew over in the wind and got attached. And then we like, you know, they ended up in our in our heady
Well,
hat.
if you look at powdery mildew, fruiting bodies, um, under a microscope, the spores are it comes out of the leaf and it sends out like what looks like a hair, and then there's a spore at the end of the hair.
Yep.
That would be my guess.
It's a good guess. It's a solid guess. I mean, that's what the work at medicinal genomics that I saw resulted in. And it's like very surface level. Like anything you get off the surface level, it'll hook back in. And if you leave it for long enough, it'll just on that same site will grow back again. If you played it, you can watch it in time lapse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like just because you like
That makes sense?
it's just like a mushroom, right?
Yeah,
You'll never see a mushroom until you see the fruiting body.
totally.
And
That's
and so,
Got like a
you know,
hook.
powdery mildew is invisible until you see the actual mushroom growing. And then even if you get rid of the mushroom, the mycelial network or the anchor essentially in the case of powdery mildew is still there, and you haven't killed it. And that's why you need translaminar pesticides to actually kill it or eradicate it, at least from that site.
I think you can use products like cease, that has a particular bacteria that will sit on the leaf area and surface area. It's just your application rate has to be quite often,
Yeah.
to isolate something like
Well,
that.
you basically have to prevent spores from germinating on the leaf surface. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're saying, "Hey, we're going to take up this real
Yeah.
estate with this bacteria. It's so that a fungus uh can't attach itself here."
Yeah.
Hey, Fletch, did you see what James and Bike did with the AGI intelligence and Hash Church recently?
No, I just saw like your post maybe yesterday talking about it or something or a couple days ago talking about it.
Yeah, they
How
created
it's like searchable or something like that.
it's all searchable, dude. They created
Yeah.
it like they made Hash Church, all of our words, a database. They transcribed everything and then they put it into this intelligent AGI thing. I don't understand it exactly. It's not an LLM. It's not like a language learning model or a large learning model, language model. But it's incredible, dude. It's supposed to go live literally really quick. I think James is in the room. Bike, I've been texting. He hasn't replied. He's here in Colorado. I was kind of hoping he'd come over and maybe chat about it. But yeah, we could literally, like, how many people have asked you over the years, what episode did you guys talk about this? I kind of would like to go back, and it's like all you have to do is search it, and then it'll pop up links of every time we spoke about those things. And then you click the link, and it takes you to that point on the video where, so that the answer is in the words of the person they're looking to get the answer from, right? If they were like, oh, Fletch was talking about like, I can't remember, it was something about freeze dryers and screens, and they punch in Fletch freeze dryer screens. And then like every time you ever spoke about any of those things on Hash Church, a link comes up that is like, boop, click on it and listen to what you said. It's fucking super cool, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool just having like a conglomerating app, where it takes all the information and actually is able to take a lot of human hours to do the same.
Yeah, it's definitely, someone just said finally some useful AI. I have to say, I was super, super impressed with it. It's going to go live right away in a week, I think. It'll be at hashbible.org. And that'll be kind of, there's a little, they created a nice little web page, and it sort of shows like the panelists and the people that are on more often than not. And then the search function, which lets you just, yeah, I mean, all of that information is so valuable, but it hasn't been valuable because you'd have to go back and listen to 2,000 hours to find any one thing you wanted to hear. And that's not really, that's not reasonable. So sweet.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I'm always about anything that's putting all the data information in a more readable format, especially
Yeah.
if it's verbal history, because like you said, there's no real way to collect that information without watching hours and hours and hours of content. Most of it probably isn't relevant to whatever the question you're actually asking is in that certain circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just had literally like hundreds of people over the years ask me, do you remember when Skunkman Sam talked about like flipping the plants, but only for like a couple hours or something to find the females and the males? And I was like, dude, seriously? Like, how the fuck could I possibly remember? Yes, I remember absolutely. It was at 1 hour and 47 minutes. It was episode blah 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 blah. I wish I could. But that we've done too many shows, man. I just and talked for too many hours.
The tism isn't strong enough.
Did you see that Hash Church peaked out at in the top 100 church podcasts of Canada? We are number 3 in the top 100 church podcasts in Canada. Do you know that, Fletch?
That sounds
pretty
like a
epic.
good thing for weed, but maybe bad for religion.
Dude,
If
what
weed
the
religion
fuck?
has become one of the top 3 religions, then we better get on the spaghetti monster and all the other ones too. Then
Absolutely. Oh my God, dude. Anyway, it was hilarious. I'm thinking some guy who's like, I'm going to do an article. I'm going to hire a Claude agent to like scrape the internet and create a hunt. Cause like, as if there's even 100 fucking church podcasts in Canada. Like that seems like a lot.
it's kind of hard to believe because you think like there's those people maybe in Canada, I guess, because you guys are kind of ahead on this curve. But at least in the U.S., we've got like Texas and all these places that have those mega churches where they make millions of dollars. You'd think they'd have a podcast with millions of viewers, but I guess nobody in Canada watches that shit.
I think
I
you're
guess
right.
Dr. Joel or Joel Osmond or whatever the guy's name and all those scammers in
Right.
Texas, they're not popular in Canada.
My God. Yeah. They don't even know we exist. They think we're like, we live in igloos.
I mean, at this point, it might be getting close.
It's not far off, dude. Crushing the economy. Just crushing the economy. Or
It's
just
suicidal empathy. It's becoming a problem, that's for sure.
yeah, that is exactly the term. It is suicidal empathy. It's absolutely batshit bonkers. It's like and it's strange. I don't even think it's suicidal empathy. I think it's weaponized nurturing and empathy. Right? They're like they're weaponizing the nurturing of a certain group who wants to nurture and care for the vulnerable. And then they paint
At the
that
expense
picture.
of everybody else.
Of course. Of course, dude. Yeah.
It's everything's fine to pay for as long as you don't have to pay for it.
Hey, we don't say that out loud here on Hash Church. We're trying to maintain our 3rd place Hash Church podcast, our church podcast. Oh my God. What kind of pipe you puffing on there? You got a little. What are you hitting there, Fletch?
I've got some new diesel 90 micron first run.
Fuck yeah, let's puff full melt.
Full melt.
Let's puff full melt, dude. We got some
I'm gonna
greased
go to my
up.
freezer to get it. You
This is
guys
some
aren't believing.
Bugman brand full melt here in Colorado. It's Lemonhead, and it is a fucking
Killer.
it's such a nice high. Like it's the high is just so enjoyable. It's been a long time since I've been puffing so many varieties of like everyone has incredible hash. There's so much beautiful hash just on the table right now. But I hit this the other day for the first time when my partner Dan brought it over, and I was like, dude, this is that high that I'm looking for. So you've
Yep, that's a
inspired it.
popular one in Colorado for sure. I think the lemon G has kind of always been a popular flavor in Colorado because it was one of the early flavors to kind of hit the market there. And BHO, lemon G is like really distinct in BHO form. And since Colorado was kind of the home of BHO there for many years, I think the local consumer there kind of really developed a palate for
Great
that
plan.
yeah, for that flavor profile and the effects of it, because lemon G is definitely a unique plant. It's most useful probably in breeding, but just in and of itself, it's also got a lot of unique traits.
It's a cool plant. It's like got these big long spears, and I have a bunch of clones of it behind me. I grew it last year again for the first time after growing it in 2019 commercially. It's not a great commercial plant, to your point. It's a terrible commercial plant, but the flavor is amazing. And to your point, in terms of breeding, I think it gives you such an awesome tool for whatever direction you want to take it, whether you want to go orange, lemon. I mean, it's really kind of
It takes a lot of work to use it though.
it does. It
It
does.
spits out a lot of trash and a lot of long flowering, kind of just midsy, um, let's call it land race type of plants. Not useful in any way. You get a lot of those, but I'd say it's probably about 5% is usable of the hybrids that are usable for the next generation. And then the other 95%, they just don't have the traits that make it a plant you can use all around.
But that lemon smell, man, I think you would agree is so unmistakable from that particular plant. It's like there's nothing that produces that particular lemon that I've found at all.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about the lemon G, especially when you hybridize it, is the 5% I'm talking about is the ones that have the lemony part of the
Yeah.
flavor. And then
Yeah.
all pretty much the rest of it is all a mixture of like pine wreath, kind of Christmas wreath, um, kind of like a land racy pine, not necessarily haze, but kind of in that direction. And they're just not very desirable. I call it the lemon tree terp, right? It's like that lemon tree and lemon G, they're similar, but they're also different. And
It
lemon
is,
tree
yeah.
seems to produce a lot less lemony hybrids in general. Than the lemon G, you'll actually get that pure lemon out of it.
I agree 100%. No, I always say that to people that are like,
Scott's Pipe agrees as well.
that are trying to work with lemon lines and they go right to a lemon tree. I'm like, you should really be working with the lemon G because those traits are actually going to be passed on, and yeah, you're going to search through a bunch of stuff, but that's the point, to search
Exactly.
through a bunch of stuff and then point your nose in some sort of direction that you decide. I'm not gonna, can't make that up for you, but um yeah, I think people misconstrued, to your point, when they're going after breeding for flavor, how to arrive at that said flavor. Because it's more than meets the eye, you know.
Well, and I think a lot of the time, a lot of people they're breeding with the intention of what the financial benefit is, not necessarily how much work they're going to have to put in to get where they're trying to go. Or it depends on what their goal is, I guess, where you're trying to go. But like for example, with lemon tree, it produces a lot more manageable plants, and they are better appealing from a bag appeal and everything standpoint as a percentage of the population. But
Yeah.
the other parts, the other stuff of it's not as good. Whereas the lemon G has all the ugly plants, but the better flavor. So,
Yep.
what's your goal? Better plants or, more unique flavor, I guess.
Yeah, and then also I would also argue, mm, the lack of male selection and leaning into the females to grab traits from, I think, is an issue.
I think that's
You know,
led to some of the diversity issue we have because
100%.
you guys heard me say for years how I think that males obviously they produce different results because you can't test the males, but then
Yep.
that there seems to be a genetic component that you get more variation with males. And then you saw Kevin McKernan, you know, did the genome and there is
Yep.
more more genes to be used. So
Yeah, I think you and I text back and forth or message back and forth. I think we both agree that reversing males is go go do that, kids. You know,
yeah, well, for the amount like reversing males is useful, but it's still about the progeny at the end of the day. It's like
100%.
the thing everybody wants to avoid is growing out 1,000 plants, and that's really the most important part of the whole process, regardless of what parents you use or
Yeah,
what the keeper male was or this or that.
fair.
The real part of breeding is growing out the seed plants and finding the combinations because one parent you can be trying to make the same cross, but using two different parents produce two different results.
100. What's up, Jen?
Hi
How you
guys.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey,
Good.
Jen.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. How was your class? That looked great.
It was fun, I really quite enjoyed it. The low temp guys are just awesome. Well, the low temp people, because Kenzie is certainly an amazing woman as well. Cliff and Scott and Matt and all of them. They're just Levi, really good folks. I can see why they're so supported here in Colorado and even around the US and North America. Like they definitely have an incredible core group of people that are constantly going there. It seems like a super incredible hash hub that people are just kind of I mean, you were talking about going there the other day and smoking a bunch of hash.
Yeah, we were there like 2 or 3 times last week. Every time we go by and smoke with those guys, they're the best. Kinsey's the best, Hunter's the best, Matt's the best, all those dudes. Great equipment, take great care of us. Love them dearly.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
it. The facility looked really nice too.
It really is. And honestly, their equipment's that new little mini washer, it's like the perfect replacement for like the plastic washing machine. Like that, those should never be used in a commercial environment. Those things are so fully contaminated. But this thing was easy to use, super chill, had a very unique little dial on it in order to like, hone in on your RPMs and your time. And it had a nice little like what looked to be like a well-built high level thermometer, which I told it in my class, like you should really create redundancy and make sure, especially a lot of these guys like to use chillers and not ice. And so you have to constantly monitor the temperature of the water or you could miss it. You could go from 0 degrees to 4 degrees and all of a sudden you're like, you've just lost 30% of your yield because the heads aren't releasing. So it was cool. Went over a bunch of stuff and a lot of cool people in the class from all over. And then we had a huge session afterwards and smoked hash for hours here at the reserve, at Kyle's reserve. Me, Kyle, Jen,
Hello.
Hi, Kyle.
and Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. Sorry I missed it.
Me too. Say hi to Jen.
Hello,
Huh?
I'm Joey. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Joey.
Joey's with Puffco as well.
Oh, nice. Hi,
And
Joey.
the awesome hash dudes. Awesome. And then these guys are over on the other side of the camera. Scully's creating some super, he's got cactus over there. He's got herbs and mushrooms. He's drawing live again. We should, it's too bad we don't have like him in a box so people could be watching this.
Yeah.
We need him in the box. Put Scully in the box, man. What are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Next time. So, you had some weird shit show up in your hash.
Yeah, so that was actually last year, and I'm a little disappointed that I don't have it so that we could plate it and see what it is. But the most interesting part was it, so I went over all the possibilities, that's why I originally thought maybe it was PM, but I didn't see anything prior to like those couple swipes that it picked up. So it almost felt like it happened during the swipe. So it was like the phenomenon was like the fucking trichomes burst and then strung out, and then instead of just being oil that would happen, it was collecting statically on the scraper. But there was no visibility of anything prior to that, and it was after, I want to say, like the second or third pass all the way through all the screens. So yeah, I don't know, it was a mystery. But I definitely hit them up when that happened after doing all my research and was like, what happened? This is not anything I've ever seen before. And I've ran enough hash in so many different ways that I would think that I would have come across something like that before. But that was the first. It looked like little strings of cotton candy. It was very interesting. So, people have done different suggestions like, maybe it's the systolic hairs, or maybe it's this or that. And I think that if it was anything like that, it would have potentially came up before. That's kind of why I posted that, to see if anybody else had seen that happen. It was definitely my first time ever running radiated material, but they didn't tell me that beforehand. Like they told me nothing. Like, here you go. This is great. This is from a nice greenhouse in Long Island. And when I processed it, I was like, what is happening right now?
It was from a greenhouse.
It was from a greenhouse. So
Yeah.
the fact of like coming from like outdoor plants and things like that doesn't really track. They didn't use rock wool, so that doesn't really track. It didn't show up in the other 2 batches that I did, but I don't think those ones were radiated. This was the only one that this actually happened with. And
Did
again,
the
like
greenhouse open?
no,
The window, there was no like openings in the greenhouse?
No, it was a closed greenhouse.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah, you can never know, I guess, if you can't test it.
Yeah, that was the disappointing thing. But yeah, so made me kind of start questioning what is the radiation actually potentially doing to those heads that could maybe have contributed to that, because you would think if it was any of the other suggestions, then as I was scoping it through all of the different screenings, that I would have seen something, but I didn't. And that's why I didn't think it was stocks either, because I was not able to see any stocks. I was at the end process of refining that to 99%, and it showed up and I was like, what in the hell is this?
Well,
So this is
I think that it's irradiated is a good indicator that it was contaminated product.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. So
It's probably,
that's
you know,
why
they
I kind
probably,
of,
it sounds like somebody knew there was something wrong with that product, because otherwise, why did it get irradiated?
yeah, exactly. So that's why I kind of leaned into the PM option on that. But
That'd
again,
be my guess.
when I was scoping any of the other material prior to that happening, it was not visible in there.
Did it look like this here that this figure that I have here at all?
So it looked similar, because I had definitely looked all of that up when I was processing it to try and
Yeah.
figure it out. Because I had to reach out to the company I was refining this for, and have them
Yeah.
reach out to the greenhouse. And I was just like, what happened in the grow? Because this is not normal. So that's when they let me in on the fact that it was radiated, but they did not say what for. So I assumed it was PM, but not being able to see any of that prior to that very last refinement was the interesting part to me. And
Yeah.
also the fact that I'm sure that I've ran material that people haven't told me has had PM, and still I've never come across that. So I was kind of hoping somebody else would be able to be like, oh yes, I've had that happen. But a lot of it just
Mhm.
seems like we're just gonna have to speculate at this point. I would like a little more research into, what those rad machines are actually doing to the trichome heads, because is it the heads that they are potentially destabilizing, and so then it's creating the ability for those heads to maybe be unstable and pop, but then potentially like solidify, which would
Yeah.
explain the screens. um don't know though. Those
Well, isn't irradiation basically just microwaving the weed?
I mean, you say
In
that
short, yeah.
online and people get all technical with, no, it's gamma rays, and they're like, no, it's radiation, and it's not like a microwave. And I don't
Well, I've
know,
put
I can
hash in a
do it.
microwave before and it doesn't do anything. So that's
Yeah.
one thing I can tell you.
Yeah, so I'm not totally sure. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I do know
Well,
there's a
those
lot of companies pushing for that to happen on a large scale, that they're gonna do that for cleanliness, and
I
usually
think
it's
you should have
MSOs.
their. I think if they need to irradiate their weed, they need to go out of business.
Yeah, and they
yeah, I
definitely
think it's
shouldn't be passing it to me to refine it and expect that I'm not going to find that there's something happened. I mean, as hash makers, like, we're going to find it. We might not know what it is at the time, but we're going to find it and be like, this isn't, something happened. Something's
Well,
in here.
95% of the hash makers are happy to just take the product, turn it into something, and get paid for it. They don't care what they find.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No,
fortunately.
they tried to push this out under my brand, and I actually had to call the dispensary after I told them, no, this is not up to my quality standards, especially after finding out that they put it through the rad machine. I actually had to call the
Yeah.
dispensary and tell them they had to take that off the shelves and resticker it to their brand, because I told them not to put it out and they wouldn't listen. Needless to say, that was the last job I ever did with that company. So
Yeah, that's too bad. So, guys, those that are listening, they're watching, and listening, the figure A is a micrograph of condia, and B is a germinating condium. Um, C is an asperium, indicated by the arrow right there. That's right at the kind of right up there. It's what grows out of the actual main stem. And all of these things, as they're highlighted, are micron sizes that we collect. So
Exactly.
if you're, using material that has this type of bacteria and microorganisms on it, they're in those micron ranges. So you should be aware of that.
mhm.
Well, the likelihood that you cleaned up product and ended up with this in as your contaminant in the same micron ranges that you would be processing the material you're looking for, it's a
Yeah.
good indicator that it was likely powdery mildew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very likely. Which then brings us to the discussion of why are we allowing these rad machines when if that is powdery mildew, it's clearly still present and should not be offered to medical patients.
I mean, if you made powdery mildew, either contamination of it or contamination of the products that people use to prevent it, I'd guess that more than 70% of the product in the market would probably have to be destroyed. I
Yeah.
mean, it would absolutely destroy most of the large commercial grows if they had to pass either sulfur testing or powdery mildew testing,
Yeah.
And D, for those
which
who
I'd
are,
be fine with.
Yeah, I was
I think
gonna say
you're,
sad state of the world. Bummer. Get
I
rid of
think
it.
what you're saying is real, Fletcher. I think the reality that there's like you get a hall pass, so to speak, to basically kill bacteria and then sell it to people as killed dead bacteria on, you know, biomass or plant material that you're then wrapping a sticker around and marketing and spending dollars and cents on at a retail level is just absolutely insane to me. You
Mhm.
know, it's just embarrassing. It's not why any of us when we were younger got involved in doing this at all. It was to have actually things that were clean and to learn from the mistakes that, yeah, you're going to have bad batches. That's going to happen. But how you handle it, I think, defines everything, to your point. Like, why would you just send it to a rad machine when you either could send it to BHO or something, some other processing technique to get some sort of value out of it and
No,
just get better,
it should just be crop failure. Like you
I think so
failed with
too.
your crop and it needs to be destroyed. There's no remediating it. There's no turning it into something else. There's no
Yeah.
making it better. You grew a fucked up product. You don't know how to do your job that well, and you shouldn't be in business. And like
Yeah.
that's just
I agree with that.
that's just how it is. And
100%.
it's like if you can't absorb the cost of doing business like that, then why are you in this business? It's just like if you can't build a safe car for people to drive in, why the hell would we let you build cars?
Yeah, no, but the sad
If
part, dude,
everything's
is
going to
that
be an AMC Gremlin and going to catch on
dude,
fire when you drive it, I think AMC needs to go out of business.
I think you're right, and I think that there's more. There's probably a handful of brands that you and I both know that actually should be in business, and the rest should probably not be here. You
Agreed.
know, and
Yeah,
that's it.
it'd be really great if instead of putting money towards the rad machine, these larger corporations that are usually the culprits of this for the most
Yeah,
part. I mean, obviously we all have issues, but this is a systemic issue within
yeah,
these larger corporations. Maybe instead of putting extra money towards these rad machines in this situation, I don't know, maybe hire an experienced grower that can actually solve these problems instead of penny
yeah.
pinching and shortchanging every single grower that goes in there, because they are not going to be able to find the quality of grower that they need to solve these problems if they continue to try and pay 60 grand a year, you know?
100%. So this is, can you guys see this figure here? I thought this was kind of a great figure. It's not obviously cannabis sativa, but um, it's very much what happens, on our leaf surface areas when it's infected. And it's the cycle, right? It's that sexual reproduction that happens um, time and time again. So
Yeah.
just
The
just
rad
take
machines
note.
don't take any of that out. It's like they're like, oh, it deactivates it. And it's like, okay, so that's going to stop it from actually like creating more. But when we put flame to it or heat from a vaporizer, we're deactivating it before it's in our lungs anyway. So that really is just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
It's literally just there to keep these big companies in business. That's all it is. And I mean, like you're saying, they could try to pay more money to hire a good grower. Show me the good growers, because if you've got them, I would be hiring them. They're not out there. I've kind of made this point recently is like, look, there's basically no come up for a good grower these days, right? If you're a 20-year-old kid and wants to learn how to grow weed, you can't grow 4 lights of whatever seeds you buy and expect to make any money. You got to go buy clones of products that people actually want to buy, and then you get powdery mildew on the clones, and it's the same process. No one's really learning. And most of the people that are my age or older that had the financial benefit of illegal weed to give them years of experience to teach them, they're either successful in doing it or they've retired. And there's really no educational system for anybody in between. So you got these people investing tens of millions of dollars into these big grows, expecting to be able to hire someone even for well into the six figures a year and expect to get results. And it's like, well, if that guy really knew how to grow $50 million a year worth of weed, why the hell are you paying him 150 grand a year to do it? He's clearly not that qualified, because if he was that qualified, he wouldn't need your fucking job. So it's like
Valid
it's
point.
an oxymoron for finding these people that can actually operate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
I used to
valid.
say that all the time. It's like there was a time where you could sit on your couch and make a living, right?
Still
And
can.
yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's just different.
I tell people, I think it's important to tell the chat,
Yeah.
running 4 to 20 lights depending on your skill level, and having a unique genetic and growing it exceptionally with no contamination at all. uh you'll make more money doing that if you do it right, with way less work than you'd ever make working for a weed corporation, for the most part. The
Yep.
only reason you'd want to work for a weed corporation is like the stability of it, but I would argue that most of these businesses are a couple months away from bankruptcy anyways, in most cases, especially the bigger they are. I mean, look at the top 10 MSOs in America. Every single one of them would be insolvent if they paid their tax bill, except for True Leave and GTI. I think that's it.
Yep. No, you're totally calling it right. It's why those that are in, director and up positions should be demanding real salaries. Otherwise you should also be doing exactly what Fletch just said.
Mhm.
Because it helps hone your skill sets. It's also where you can learn a lot about, how certain varietals work and how that scales and how that goes back into commercialization if you want that, if that's something you want to do. Like you said, Clutch, not many people truly understand what commercialization is and how to do it well. There's I
Yeah,
can't
most
I
don't
can
have the
barely
skill.
count I can barely
It's
count them on my hand. I remember when someone asked me to find them a grower at 16,000 square feet. And I was like, guys, do you understand that nobody's actually run that much square footage consistently ever? Like at all? And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, guys, look, your concept of commercial cannabis is caught up in commercial agriculture. And we are very far from one another, although we sometimes get talked about in the same like conversation, and sometimes we're in the same room, right? But we both know that it's a completely different game, right? So how do you get there is, being extremely humble and extremely present, because you're not going to just run 16,000 square feet with a 15-person team and bang it out time and time again every single time. That takes a lot of teamwork.
Mhm.
It's a machine. So it's not what Fletch is talking about with 4 to 16 lights. That you're not. It's a very different. You're talking about a sports team, basically.
Yeah,
So
you're not going to win or be
yeah,
successful at that large scale because you're a good grower.
totally.
That's maybe 25% of what succeeding at that level is. Everything
Yeah,
else is people management, funds management,
yeah,
timing, employment,
yeah.
it's all the other things that it takes to run a business. And most people that are good at growing weed uh, do not have that skill set like at all. Not only do they not have it, but most of them are terrible at it. Even myself included. I'm actually okay at it, but I hate doing it more than anything. So
I
by
hate
that
it.
definition, I'm terrible at it. You know?
Yeah. Well, everyone has at that certain scale, everyone has their kind of role. I look at it like a band or like like I said, a sports team. Like everyone has a role. Like you're playing drums, you play drums. You're playing guitar, you're playing guitar. And that's just your role, and that's what you should focus on and really hone in on. If that's what you want to do is fertigation, that's your zone. You've honed in on that only. You want to look at IPM management, do that only, at that scale, to your point. But yeah, but also, man, like I always just encourage people to grow as much as they can on their own and learn. And to your point, build a room, build your own room, and
If
get
you
your own
can't,
clones, get your own seeds, and go get at it and start making mistakes and have the lights go off or something. You know what I mean? Like have
if
your
you can't,
AC
if you
go
Have
out
the
on
lights
you.
stay on,
And
right?
if you
yeah,
can't make a good living with like a garage setup, there's no reason to be like, I should go run 1,000 lights or 500 lights. I mean, what's the
right.
point there? You've already got a scaled size of something that you can make profitable if you're really as good as you say you are. So
100.
what's the point of going through the trouble? And the risk for putting up 10 lights is less now than there ever was. So to me, it's like, you know, I basically won't hire someone unless I see that they can run 20 lights on their own and crush it. If you if you can't show me a 20 lighter you're already running for your living and you just want to join a better team, there's no proof to me that you really have the skills required other than to do, like you said, individual jobs, fertigation, plant management, whatever it is in a large facility. But if you're going to be the like director of cultivation and where you have to, yeah, you got to like, you should be able to do 20 lights and go to the beach every day and make a
We're
living. And
one and
if
the
you
same,
can't, then
Fletcher.
you're not
I
suited for a big grow.
I agree. Anytime I hire someone, I always ask them what their portfolio looks like, and it's not just showing me bags and jars. I actually want to be invited. I want to see what you do and how you do it and how that translates to this jar that you gave me and show me like what's up. Like, you know, I've
I've
met
seen
a lot
great
of
weed come out of a dirty grow, and a dirty grow at scale doesn't work. So,
100%.
it's like you're
Yeah.
saying, a jar is a good step, but I got to know how many cycles you're getting. I need to see your numbers. I need to see how you run your business. And if you don't run your 10 lighter like a business, you'll never do 1,000 lights like anything other than a home grow.
Mhm.
Yep. No, you nailing it. So those out there that are looking to, come work for, you know, brands or reach out to those of us out here, just we want to see people that are doing it because you love to do it. And it's something that you're showing up for regardless of anything else. Like all of us, I think here show up because we love it. It's not and really anything else. It's just everything else is a byproduct of that, you know?
The only scaled stuff that works like that is 90% of the time it's because it's an owner operator, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Outside of that, it's going to be like the amount of big grows that have an investment group that are paying people to just work there that are succeeding right now is few and far between, if
Can't even
if
see
not
it.
zero. I mean, it's if you actually made any of them pay their debts, the number would likely be zero.
Yep. And as it to your point with just how everything's kind of changing, it's not going to get really any easier because you will have to pay taxes, even with write-offs. Like, go do the numbers, guys. Like, it's the write-offs don't help you all that much, so, you still got to run a business, and that's something that a lot of operators out there are going to have to come to truth with. It's why everything is the way it is, to your point, Fletcher. It's,
Exactly.
we
This
have
isn't
a
my
really
opinion.
messy.
This is
This
as
is just
evidenced
facts.
by the market conditions, right?
It's the You're right. It's the truth, and that's why I said that because it's just don't want the viewers being like, "Man, these guys are just talking smack." No, what we're saying, everyone out there, is that there's been a lot of turmoil based on false P&L and people looking at like 4x on their returns, which never ever came ever. Show me one or yeah, maybe show me a few, I guess, exits that have actually like done that for anyone. Everyone else here that I know that's been doing this is just here working as if it's a gig. It's not you're not selling your business to the highest bidder,
Uh,
you know.
the the majority of those big monster grows, the only reason they're even surviving right now, even with all the debt they incur, is them just trapping all the weed to the black market. That's their only profit margin, is just that at all. Um, You know, that's especially in California, but that's the vast majority of producers in most scaled states. I mean, Washington, it's bad. Oregon, it's bad. California, it's bad. Michigan, it's bad. Maine, it's bad. The amount of export that's
Yeah.
occurring from legal businesses is, you know, significant.
Well, there's also no apprenticeships, right? There used to be apprenticeships, you know, when we
Exactly.
were rolling up. And so you were allowed to have successes and failures, most importantly, failures, right? Because that's where we all learn. None of us learn from success. We all learn from when shit fucked up. And from then on, you know, but that's because we had guides. I mean, a lot of us, you know, from the illegal days, you had to work with a grower and, you know, or you tried it on your own. I tried it on my own and failed quite successfully on my own, quite significantly with the help of my friends, right? Like my first grow, I had to leave, so I let my friend watch my grow. And I came back and he was like, "Hey man, I telepathically swore the cops were coming. So I cut down your plants and then I dried them in the microwave for you."
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, so you know, when you start out like that, you know, it's there's only one place to go but up. But you know, with these large scale grows, I mean, we worked ourselves up to those to have the availability to do that. I mean, you literally have to have, you know, greenhouse management classes, courses, and you know, there are legitimate real world, you know, business opportunities, but for cannabis growers to meet all those specific needs, I think you were talking about that earlier, Fletch, and how they just don't exist anymore. You know, you have to literally create them or bring up somebody you feel is confident, but then you also be prepared for the fail. Look at that freak. Which no money can afford, right? You've got that many lights, that many systems. There is no room for failure, period, end of story. If you fail, the business is over, right?
Exactly.
So that's the biggest thing I think people are negotiating currently is there is no ability for failure allowed. And with apprenticeships or anything like that, that's an inevitable. So it makes it even harder for people coming up to want to step into those roles because those people overseeing those operations can't afford to put a half-assery into a serious situation, right?
Exactly. And it's like I said, there's about 5% that are going to be able to make this work by doing internal training and having the right team and owner operators that are paying attention to everything. But it's such a small group of people that have that skill that they're simply not available. Like they're in more demand to themselves than they could ever be available to you. So hiring these people is kind of a pipe dream. You're actually much better off from like a strategic standpoint to like start a school and start training people than you would be trying to find these non-existent people or
And that's
non-available at the very least.
And that's where we've been guiding people for the past, you know, decade or so, where people are like, well, I want to get into a legitimate business. How do I do that? You know, when there's no schools. Well, there are schools for, you know, greenhouse management and how to actually run grows. It's just not cannabis grows. And so your experiences going to have to be found elsewhere. Otherwise, you were a closet grower along while you were doing it, right? You know, so how do you like Fletch? You know, you grow on a scale and you at regular places around to make sure that you have, you know, acclimated genetics, etc. So how do you go about hiring, or do you just have to end up doing it all yourself?
If
Same to
it's
you,
if
Jen.
I have partnerships and then I kind of let them manage their things. But if it's my money and my place, I basically have to live there and run it myself because I've hired and had countless people that had degrees from FSU and whatever for greenhouse management or whatever plant related sciences, and they just don't work out because at the end of the day, running these big facilities is much less about um knowing what chemical to use to clean out your irrigation lines than it is uh, knowing what kind of freon you have in your AC systems and how you can get the thing back online and whether or not the electrical system is where the breakers are and why this is tripped and walk into a room. Why is the humidity up? Like that's you literally, that's what you really need. And it doesn't matter if it's 6 a.m. or midnight, you might be in there fucking with it. And most people just aren't willing to do that. And that's why I say, if you really are that passionate about it, good at growing, care about quality, and want to provide a product that's in high demand but low supply, a 20 lighter, 10 lighter, 4 lighter that's crushing it with good genetics is really a much better place to put that energy and effort, in my opinion, than most large scale facilities. Because at the end of the day, like I said, most of these big facilities, the ownership is not like, the likelihood your job's going to be around long term is very low unless you know the owner operator and you know that they're going to stay in, they intend to stay in business. Most of the people that are investing in weed, they were looking for a quick in and a quick out. And some people got it and some people didn't.
So there's a gap then, right? You stated it quite clearly. There's a gap between the education and the real world applications. So, I know there's places that try to, there's Cloverleaf, Oaksterdam, but those seem to not close that gap. So, I mean, Jen, I see you all the time. You're the one in your garden doing your shit because, you know, who else can you rely on at times, especially because of your knowledge base?
Mhm. Yeah, and everybody that I've had come in to help, if again, if I haven't had anybody cut down my crop and microwave it because they thought the cops were coming, but uh, with the exception of the 2 times that I had my mother come in and watch my personal grow while I had to go out of town, every single time I come back and it's one thing or another. It's either dead clones, it's dead plants, I mean, gosh, I had this one guy that was just supposed to keep an eye on my clones in the easy cloner, and I get a message like 3 days later when I'm like, don't do anything, like just literally eyes, not hands. um he was like, I don't know what happened, but the roots are all hot pink and everything's dead, and I killed your mother's too. And I was like, what? How? And he's like, well, I thought I would change out the cloner water, and then the pH pen was not calibrating correctly. And I'm like, why are you calibrating anything? And the only thing I could come up with was that he wasn't using the right solution. So instead of like calibration solution, he was using something else. But I think the pink roots came from the fact that I'm pretty sure that he used the buffer solution instead of a pH up or down, because I've never seen anything like it. He sent me pictures. I wish I still had the pictures, but this was, 8 years ago. They're on a different phone that's probably in the
So,
phone
so they
graveyard.
were hot pink?
They were hot pink and they were like slimy. Like it burned everything off of them, but the roots were hot pink. So through talking to everybody that I possibly could, have you ever seen this? And then I was looking through and I was like, okay, show me exactly what you did. And he showed me this and I was like, that's buffer solution. That's not pH up or down. Like that's not, yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, you can't rely on somebody else to take care of your stuff because they don't have that material loss or that passion that, you walk in, your dreams are crushed all of a sudden because you've got hot pink roots and dead plants everywhere. So
And
yeah,
this
it's challenging.
and the stress of the obligation, right? Because if you can't rely on people, I mean, I've been to one of your grows, Fletch, and I've seen you're on it, you're there, you have to be on it all the time. So there's an unfortunate time suck that comes with it, right? Because as much as we all think that, we afford ourselves our personal freedoms, when it comes to plants, if you're actively listening to plants, you're actively listening to plants. And you're like, I've said it before, I call them time machines because you step into a grow. You only were meant to go in there for 5 minutes, then you come out 5 hours later, the sun's gone down, and everything's completely changed because you actively listened to your plants and had to do what had to be done. And you can't wait till tomorrow because these are high pressure and high reality situations with plants, especially where they grow, how they grow, you know, y- the humidity. But geez, can't even pink. I'm still stunned by the pink root situation. I'm just
Blown away. Like, what did you do? Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, you call them time machines. I call them. I kind of relate them to a casino. you know, you don't know what time it is and you could win or you could lose. Like, yeah, same difference though. Yeah, pink roots. Has anybody else seen hot pink roots that has any input on that? I mean, again, this was many years ago, but the only thing I could come up with was that buffer solution. But yeah.
These are the days I miss Skunk Man Sam.
Yeah, Sam, what was that, bro?
He's like, well, in 1972.
And then what we had to do is we had to go find a goat from two hills over. And yeah,
Oh
love
yeah.
you, Sam. Miss
Dude, my
you.
computer was about to die. Luckily, my buddy has the same charging cable, but I think I left my charging cable yesterday at low temp.
Oopsie.
Masonic says Mills turns my roots pink.
Wasn't using Mills though.
No, but if Mills turns his
But
roots pink, it's possibly there's something in there that.
I did use Mills back in the day though. I never had pink roots. I wonder if he could maybe expand on that a little bit more because that's interesting.
A friend of mine just texted me, said fusarium can turn roots pink. Okay. I'll buy that. Makes sense. Fungal pathogen. All the
Say
colors.
fungal.
I don't know that would have been
Say
the
that
case
too.
on this situation because it was a matter of 3 days. I left. He
Yeah,
fucked
that's
it.
way too fast for. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a growth anything, which was part of the confusing part. Like, how in 3 days did you literally just wipe everything out? Like, yeah, interesting though.
Well, I mean, let's digress on what we were talking about earlier, the lack of a gap between school and real world application, right? I knew, back in the day there was no school for this, so I had to approach a grower and ask for apprenticeship, right? If you really wanted to grow, if you found somebody who was a really good grower, you had to pass the vibe check, right? All those things that, people either success or fail on, right? Because people are strange, people are weird. But then you start dealing with plants and start dealing in plants in closed areas. It comes with a whole other series of problems that can ascend quickly, right? In a matter of 24 hours, shit can really flip a script that if you, depending on how you're growing and growing style, you cannot recover from, right? So how do we negotiate this in the future? I think, Fletch, is that as you said, you started a grow school by growers for growers, so that cannabis growers, not just growers in general, but that
It's an early
lack of
solution.
there's a lack there. So how do we close that gap? How do we help people who are watching who are like, I want to be there, I want to do that, but Fletch says that that didn't work. So how do I arrive there?
Well, I,
Agronomy.
I I think nowadays there's not nearly the options that we have like when we started up. A big part of it being the cost of operations. Just even getting a rental house that you can grow in is way more expensive than it was, even 10 years ago, much less 20 or 30 years ago. So, I think for most people, their best bet is to start out is to grow at home. 2 lights, 4 lights, and and focus on that. And if you can run, it's just like anything. Like if you want to get good at basketball, you need to go shoot free throws. It's not about all the everything else. You need to dribble and shoot free throws, and then once you can start hitting free throws, now you can go try everything else. But until then, it's like you really have to just focus on the basics. And the more committed you are to a structured basic program, the better your results at scale will be. And if you're not trying to do it like that, then it's probably not the job for you at the end of the day, long term. I mean, the only other option is like an actual school, and that school would have to be an operational business essentially, right? It's an operating cannabis grow, and you have highly talented teachers and a really good curriculum, and you teach them the things that they really need to know and really none of the stuff that they don't need to know. Um, it's, growing at scale is not as complicated as a lot of people make it out. and it can be done. Like, I'm not saying nobody can do it. I'm just saying the reason why things look the way they are is there's way more people trying to do it than there is qualified people operating.
Yeah, that's well said. My take on it is, you know, like you just said, man, I'm like, go skate, go play basketball, whatever, make whatever your analogy is, like go put the time in on the court. Um, but also if you can and you actually are, some people aren't built for this, like Fletch, some people aren't built for college, right? Let's be honest about that, right? They're better off out there in the court throwing free throws or free throws and then playing pickup games, so to speak, rather than going to a college, joining the basketball team, showing up and training, right? Like, UConn's a good example of that. They have a really good program for hemp. They have a cannabis program that's baked in with research and good professors that are pushing certain aspects of it, but not everyone's built for that. And there's a lot of analogies that I could bring in. Like there's artists that I've hired in my career that never went to art school that are like some of the best illustrators and animators I've ever met in my life. But it's because they put the time into your point, and their skill sets evolved because of that passion that they have for it. So
I hear
it's a
you, but
roundabout way
when
of
we're
like
talking
saying
about operating at scale, it's
yeah,
not just your passion and your talent, right? It's
no,
your operational management. And like, it's really, really
but
difficult to
there's
learn operational management
but
without the structure of like an organization.
right, exactly. That back to my point of the
Yeah.
basketball players, right? Some people are players, some people are built for management, some people are coaches, right?
But you
Some
all
people
have
are
to know how to play on a team. And that's what I'm getting at,
no,
right? And that's the
no,
hard part. Yeah.
you got to know your place. That's where I'm getting at,
Yeah.
right? So,
Exactly.
but there are all these different paths to end up at that same place, right? Which is amazing. And there's no wrong in that. Like some people can trap their way to it. Some people need to go and get academia and go all the way to that. I don't know. There's no wrong. But to
I
your
agree.
point,
Results are results. Yeah.
100%. Results are results, and the proof's in the pudding. Whatever you want to bring to the table is that. But I think you're right, 100% that people need to put the time in, and really eat, breathe, sleep it, and as a result, find your role, and try not to be the grower that just started in an organization that wants to be the CEO, etc. You know what I mean? Like learn from everyone around you. And I
You know,
think that's the other thing.
and be
Go ahead.
humble while doing it, because there's
Yeah,
a thing that happens with same thing that happens with musicians, same thing that happens with artists. They
100.
sometimes will get an ego where they think they're too good for something, and that's
Yeah,
one of the things about that large scale growing is there's no room for that. It's about following formulas and looking for problems to fix, right? And if
yeah,
you can't assess and do those things, those problems are going to arrive en masse consistently. And that's what you, if you're hiring somebody, want to avoid. So, negotiating that in this real world is, yeah, I agree. I put my time in failing as a grower, finally getting it right as a grower, but always being passionate about it, having to take the risk. What you were saying, Fletch, a lot of those things that you said before didn't exist. There's still underground grows. There's still people if you want to do it, but you got to still take those risks. And with those risks comes the anxiety, comes the fear, comes all those things that each one of us have had to mm, thicken our skins and our realities too. Because
But that's
when
what
you,
that's what made a good
right,
grower, right?
right,
Because like you just said, the probably the most important trait, especially at scale, but even small scale, is looking for problems. And most people do everything they can to avoid problems. And so it takes a really special kind of person who every day they go to work and they are literally looking for problems so that they can go fix them. That's not what most people want to do. Most people want to show up to work, do the same thing every day that's relatively easy, go take their lunch break and call it a day at 4:30. The good grower is the guy that's showing up at 5 a.m. because there was something wrong with the dehumidifier last night. And he already stopped at Home Depot to buy a couple parts to fix the drain line because it's like, and he gets in there and he's up in the attic of your space and he's up there until 10 p.m. fixing some other problem he came across, right? It's like that that's what it really takes to do it at scale. And there's a small amount of people with that personality type.
You're
Mhm.
totally right, man. 100%. I feel like I've been lucky to have worked with a few that have that personality type, you know. It's tough though. You know, there's a lot of people you'll cycle through that say they have that until until you're in it. And
Exactly.
it's, you know what I mean? I had a kid taking apart Venturi injectors one morning. I walked in. I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" He's like, "It was clogged again. I took them all apart." And I was like, "That's why you're here, man. This is why I love you, man." You know, and that's the type of, to your point, that's the type of, intuition, if you will, that not many people are willing to like be like, shit, I got to take it all apart. It's not just this one, you know.
That's right.
Mhm.
So that's all those that are out there looking to really step it up, like just know that's the mentality, man. And you got to take the complete ownership of it. Otherwise it's you're just passing it through, you know. So
Yeah, to run a large scale facility, it takes full accountability, which most people are allergic to, and
yep.
it takes that dedication that it's just most people are so afraid of conflict, and literally running a grow correctly is literally a conflict with either mechanical or people. One of the two at all times, and
And
not
then
in a
some of
bad
us
way, but
love
there's
it.
but there's always some sort of problem that you're trying to fix. That's really what it is.
Problem solving, right? It's
No, you're
about
right.
Putting
And
out
also,
fires. That's all you're doing all day. And if you don't like being a fireman, this isn't the job. And most of the fires aren't in the form of plants. They're in other forms.
unfortunately, yeah, man. It's like I wish they were in form of plants. It'd be easier to put them out. So you're right. And the other thing that comes to mind is really, beyond dedication is just respecting, people around you when things are really going wrong, and having that sense of being really center and really being able to be mature enough to be like, collected enough to direct people with respect. And I think that's one thing I often I think is missed sometimes.
calm, cool, and collected in those situations is most importante in those times, right?
100.
Because
Yeah. Because you're a
I
team, you're
mean,
still a family. You know what I mean? And that's
correct, right.
that's the
You're
thing I
not
think people. Yeah.
chastising, you're just trying to problem solve, right? We all
Yeah.
realize there's problems happen, whatever that problem is, but we have to solve it. And you need to put those heads together sometimes because not everybody has that depth of understanding. So having those teams and that calmness in that free flow
Yeah.
allows that flow state because you need that flow state in those chaos situations because I mean, it's easy to panic. We've all been in those, oh shit, what the fuck, right? And then it's all about breathing through it, walking it back. And true problem solvers are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing to have that knee-jerk reaction. It's a whole nother thing to perpetuate that throughout trying to solve the problem, just making everything very difficult.
Yeah. 100%.
You're looking for the
Or
guy
more
that's picking
difficult
up
than
the
it should
tools,
be.
not complaining about the problem.
Hmm.
It's the best people.
Yo, welcome, Caleb. I see he has shown up.
Hello, hello. Late. I'm sorry, but great to see y'all.
Yeah, I know you had an event yesterday. Sorry, I wasn't able to make it. I caught a virus on my way home, so I'm still getting over it, and I didn't want to be contagious to our Wooks and be the bearer of Wook cough. So I hope everything went well, but nothing but love and respect.
It was a great, fun time at the Chapel of Flowers. We talked about the Buddhist Harvest Report. We could do a virtual version on here at some point, but it's kind of interesting looking at the actual DCC data and seeing how much California has fucked up uh cannabis for the counties that you think of when you think of California cannabis. So the 7 counties that we featured in the harvest report were Trinity, Humboldt, Mendocino, Lake, Sonoma, Nevada, and Santa Cruz. And especially those first three, the Emerald Triangle, Humboldt, Trinity, and Mendocino. Humboldt and Trinity actually lost share of their total California outdoor harvest since the last year. And that's something that most people might not know has happened. And the proof that there are other counties that maybe have more or less restrictive laws, and that has actually led to more licenses there and more, I guess, booth being grown in other counties as opposed to in the Emerald Triangle. It's definitely had impacts on lessening licenses and all that stuff. My goodness, that glass looks so good.
That Robinson goat looked goat.
Marcus, since I've gotten this thing is a little ripper. I like
Dude,
this better than
core is
the
amazing.
Oh, dude, it is the
little
best
Sherlock.
travel piece ever, as
It's
far as
Bar
done.
I'm
none.
concerned.
It's very unsuspecting because honestly I didn't really mine doesn't pull as well with the pipe extension on it, but with that it brings it.
Yeah, the design with the open air on both sides and now adding the little bead inside really turns it into a serious little ripper that yeah, nothing but respect for. I mean, I've dreamed of a product that works that well. With that and a sploofy, you can go anywhere.
I got to put the
Just
beads in mine, Marcus. I still haven't put them in. Put them
You
in.
got to
It's
put the beads
I
in, dude.
got to-
Trust me, that's
just start off
hugely
with
important.
one, but it turns to that
I
ripper
just use
into more
one.
of
I
a
haven't
ripper.
put them in. I got them right here. I
Dude,
keep
check it
looking
out.
at them.
I got a low temp Scully Vibes t-shirt.
Nice.
You guys
Badass.
familiar with Scully Vibes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
he's fucking an awesome artist, dude. He's here right now painting or drawing or whatever it is he's doing. This is actually, I believe, a painting that he did. We just bought like 10 of these for the reserve the other day. So Kyle's got, this is one of my favorites right here. I feel like,
hell yeah. I got the print that he did live on Hash Church. I just have to frame it now. But kid
okay.
is very talented and he's got his finger on the pulse of how things are and he shows that and represents it. There it is. Badass. Well framed.
We got
Homer.
blotter.
Oh, I like the Homer. That's cool.
Blotter art.
I miss blotter art. Oh, that's
As
great.
blotter art shows. I used to do art shows back in the 90s where I was able to
Blotter.
pick some up, undosed blotter art. Because I have like
Sure.
through the looking glass, I have the front and the back, and there they actually sold the little 45 etched with the same notches. So I have that framed as a one piece.
I had a friend growing up who collected blotter um pretty seriously. Like he had like full pieces that were definitely some of them were dose, some of them were not.
I have
Um
my little blotter collection, right? Yeah.
some may allegedly, I should say allegedly, some are allegedly dose or allegedly not.
Yeah.
Um so yeah.
It's fun to show this art.
That's great
Oh.
art, man. That's a nice collection of Scully's work, man.
Oh, we have way more, dude. There's some up there on the wall. There's two of them. You can't really see the other one. It's hiding behind the thing, but and then we're gonna get him to do this wall right here. A whole series. Actually, if you really want to see some ridiculous art, I guess I would probably be
Wait, no,
remiss.
take the elevator, Marcus. Take the elevator.
Oh,
What
the
are you-
elevator. Yeah, okay. I'll
And
take
what
the
are you
elevator.
doing, dog? Come
Sorry, man.
on.
Why are you
Sorry, man.
using your feet when you could be
Well,
using the
I don't know.
elevator?
Because the elevator wasn't here. I was like, oh, I gotta like pull it. I gotta call it down
Come
from
on,
the
Ollie.
floor. Like, here it
Get you in
comes.
there.
I'll take the elevator.
Show us the elevator.
Dude, this place is so ridiculous. It is okay. Look at these fucking beanbag chairs.
Those are legit. Those are. I used to have those types of beanbag chairs in my loft in New York.
The Love Sacks. That's the company. If you want to check them out.
They're
I
dope.
love
It's a
love
big
sacks. I think
upgrade.
those actually originated in Utah.
I believe it.
Oh, really?
Big and
Don't
fluffy.
buy from the copycat
Gateway
fuck
Mall.
bags. Don't buy from those guys.
Fuck.
Yeah, I remember they used to have I think their main store was in down in Salt Lake, and I used to work down there like 20 years ago. And I would
Yeah.
take a break and I would walk over to that store and they would let us just hang out in the love sacks.
I'd walk
Amazing.
over to that store from West High School and yeah, sit in the sacks.
Yeah, are you West High School, Utah?
I was an Elper there when I was a little kid.
Oh shit. Yeah, West High is it's a trip. That school is a little rough. I
Fun
don't know if
times.
it is still. I'm assuming it is, but yeah.
In the early 2000s, it definitely was.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
See you, Jen.
I love it. Oh, Utah. You know what's funny? I've actually talked to a couple people. Who was it? Straight Concentrates. He's from Utah. Murray
Mm.
Murphy, she's from Utah. Like,
Mhm.
it's amazing.
Oh, no
There's
way.
actually, yeah,
Yeah.
Task.
Kyle from Heritage is also from Utah.
Is he? Yeah,
Jess from
Yep.
Alpine Seed Group. I
really?
think Marcus, you know her from
That's awesome.
Utah.
Task from Highly
Chris
Educated
Dreyer?
Natural. Is Chris from here?
No. He was just showing his work.
Oh,
The,
I was
the
like, what?
mural.
He does amazing work though. Yeah. Yeah, no, Utah kind of put out a couple really decent things, which is interesting because we just didn't have such access to things. But those of us that wanted to find it definitely did.
Well,
For
it's
sure.
like 10, 12 hours from the California border. It's still relatively close.
Oh yeah.
It's not that far out. It's true. It's
Yeah.
geographically speaking, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely drivable.
Yeah. No, 100%. And you can shoot right up to, Colorado too. You're right there. Essentially the same southern mountain range, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a good
Yep.
part of the world.
Yep. I mean, we're surrounded by really great states. It's a little better than it used to be, but I don't know.
I've
Still
had some
interesting.
amazing times riding snowboards in Utah. I mean, Honeycomb
Yeah.
Bowl is pretty legendary out in I can't remember what mountain that Solitude, I think that's where that yeah, Honeycomb Bowl in Solitude, and then Brighton is super fun. Like it's
Brighton
small.
was great.
Brighton's
Yeah.
so fun though.
Brighton's the
So,
spot to go if you snowboard. A lot of the other places wouldn't even allow you to snowboard. It was
yeah.
not tolerated. So there was only a couple that we had options for.
Brighton's legendary though. It's like such a fun place to ride. The snow's so good there.
Yeah.
Marcus, you would love Brighton. It's like a natural snowboard park with boulders and just like it's so fun, man. You just like these little just be riding in powder and just launch off these rocks and float around on them.
Sounds amazing.
It's super cool.
Sadly, we got no snow this year. It was the craziest winter. It snowed, I want to say maybe a total of 3 times, and the snow was gone within 48 hours. We got until like,
Took it all.
mid-April. We finally got our first snowstorm in mid-April. It was crazy. It was like 68 degrees here on Christmas. Unheard of. Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. Think all out, think
I know it's Trump's fault.
Right. Well, so think about this. So Utah's always in a perpetual drought. Like, I don't think there's been a year that I've been alive that Utah has not been in a drought. And then with the winter that we just had, that was literally non-existent. And now there's all this talk about this, what is it, 400,000 acre data center that they want to put here that's going to use something like 6 billion gallons of water daily in a state that is in a serious water crisis all the time. I'm just like, oh, we are living in idiocracy. This is insane.
it's pretty seriously on point. Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Marcus is in Starship Enterprise chair.
nice.
So
Bridge calling to the medic bay. We're gonna need some dabs up here and on the bridge, please.
I'm gonna
Beam me
need
up,
some dabs,
Scotty.
right to Captain.
Dude, this chair
is so ridiculous. It is the most insane chair I've ever sat in my
Is that
life.
one of those massage chairs?
No. It's the massage chair. It's not one of those massage chairs. It is the massage chair. This thing's like 20 racks.
That's so
It looks
funny.
like a mecha out. It looks like I'm getting ready to go.
I
Missiles
know.
pop up behind you, you know?
It looks so ridiculous. Oh my God.
Get a full shot of that, Marcus. I can't. I just
I
see
don't
what you're
know if
showing
I
out there.
can. I don't know how well I
I'm
can do a
interested.
full shot of it. It's oh shit, I'm going back, guys. I'm going back.
Does
Here's
it have the leg grabby things to get your calves and everything
I,
too?
as well as
he's
feet
totally in.
inside.
He's totally.
Feet too? Oh, that's
I am
nice.
like I'm laid back. I better. Oh, also it has these arm things that you fit your arms into, and then it's
They
got
have
these.
those at my gym, and then yeah, you put your arms in there and you can feel these bags like fill up with air and like
It,
compress your arms like
it
that.
massages you about in 6 different places at once.
This is the massage chair episode now.
This is
That's
the massage
awesome.
chair episode. Brought to you
We got
by Osaki.
Oh,
Serious
sucky to
chairs.
me.
Serious chairs for serious people.
Does it have
serious
that
chairs for serious
anti-gravity
dabs.
mode? See if there's a little button on there that's got like a G and
Holy
anti-gravity
shit.
mode, and it'll actually lean you back to the point where you're
Oh, it
not
has it.
not far.
It
Yeah, so
has it.
that'll like equalize your body so that you have equally distributed weight across the whole thing.
That's right.
They have a version of those at the gym that I go to.
So it's like buoyancy.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly.
This thing it is gonna pick me up soon, I think, and I'm gonna walk around the reserve in this like mechanical body chair.
Flip it on.
Surprised since you're in Denver, it doesn't have a little oxygen thing that comes over with a little bit of oxygen for.
No, instead it has a small
Bar
Starbucks
option.
dispenser. How
Love
pissed
it.
would you be if you got some reclaim on it? Oh, I think we'd be okay.
Does it have a Pez dispenser?
Dude, hey Marcus, do you remember that one massage chair episode? Could you tell me the timestamp? Hashbible.org. Go check it out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, some very awesome community members, Jen, created some type of thing. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's some type of intelligence, and they've transcribed all of the hash churches, and now it's all searchable. And so you can just search for something, and then it's like the person who talked about it is in the link to answer you. It's from the episode. So it's like if you're like, oh, when did so and so talk about a cert? Boom, you punch that in, you'll get all the links. I did it the other day. It was on a test module. I just punched in Dr. Lester Grinspoon, and 2 episodes came up right away
Interesting.
with him in them. And then I was like, I wanted to hear what he was talking about and see if I could search that and get that to a timestamp. And that's basically what it is. It's really cool. It's coming very soon, if not in the next week. Oh, it's just intelligence. It's just intelligence.
You got to do a
Just
dab in the chair now.
I can't do a dab in the chair. My arms are locked into the chair. It's squeezing my feet. It's
Sounds like we got to
squeezing
get
my
the
hip.
designer back to the table and put the headpiece back on that
Oh, by the
he
way, this thing
originally
has
offered you that
heaters.
you turned down.
It has heaters. It has speakers, so I could have you guys coming out of my speakers right now on either side of my head. And it's got a wireless charger.
I could write a whole bit on this.
Yeah, you should. So you come here and I make a whole video of you in this chair.
Sir, I said no to the helmet, but I'd like to reconsider my order. I
No
need
VR, the reality glasses to go with it.
I'd like to
That'd be pretty
excuse
cool
me,
if it
sir.
was synced up to that.
I would like the discount on the dab helmet after further thought.
This is the couch lock chair. Actually, you know what? I think there's a pillow that I'm not using. Yes, there we go. Much better. Much better. Although now this thing's trying to squeeze me out and I can't get in it because I moved my arm at the wrong time when it needed to squeeze my shoulders. This thing compresses you on the side. Like it's absolutely insane.
First world massage chair problems, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, V2, it's gonna be you move your arm slightly and it gives you a certain type of dab. You move it another way, it gives you another type of dab.
Dude, get in the lab, Colin. Get in the lab.
Believe
I'm
it,
taking notes right now.
I
Are you
believe
not
if you
coming
hit
over, Adam?
the stretch mode, it will pull you from one side here and up here, and it'll literally like just see if there's a stretch mode on it.
Oh, I've used all the modes and I have indeed used the stretch mode, and the stretch mode on this thing is frightening. Like, it is
And
terrifying. It
Right.
pulls your
really
feet down,
have
it bends the whole chair back, it bends your back. You're like, whoa, this is actually like borderline scary. Anyway, enough about me. How are you guys doing?
very good. So I actually have to hop off here. I just got a message that I got a surprise visit from my grandkids. So I'm gonna
Nice.
surprise and go play with the grandbabies.
So your day just get like so much better when you got that message?
Yes, very much.
That's
They're
so
so
nice. I can
cute.
see it on your face.
Yeah. They're how old are they now? We've got a 3-year-old and an almost 5-year-old.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Hey, that's a great
little
age.
little boys. So I just had my
Oh,
3 girls. So
lucky
the
you.
whole like small boy situation is so fun.
Yeah, it's totally different for sure. That's pretty awesome. Well, you definitely enjoy your grandkids. I'm envious that you have grandkids, but I'm getting there. I'm sure eventually maybe I might
Yeah.
be a grandpa.
I mean, I had a daughter at 17, so now I get to experience the grandkids before I am too terribly old.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it, right? How many people are like, I'm not gonna have my kids till I'm 50. It's like, oh, so you don't ever want to meet their kids.
Yeah. You don't want the cool experience of like playing with these kids that kind of belong to you and then giving them back. So, like,
Yeah. Oh, and you'll most definitely be in line for great grandkids,
yeah.
which is pretty
Yep.
awesome, right? You'll have great grandkids when these other people are like, "Oh, I just had my first grandchild." It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're like 50 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to look at the difference between having children young versus having children old. It's like when you have them young, you have to have all these different experiences in life almost like after you raise them, and then you have that freedom to go have these experiences,
Yeah.
whereas it's the opposite. If you wait till you have them old, you're able to experience life in that different way. But yeah, I went from being a kid to having kids, so I didn't have the same freedoms, let's say, that other people did.
Well,
um
you made sacrifices and
yeah.
that you sacrificed all of those times and moments, but that's literally what parenting is. You just sacrifice for your children.
Yeah.
And I think it's when it feels like a jail that you feel like you lose your freedom, but you don't lose your freedom because you exchanged it, you sacrificed it. It wasn't taken from you.
Mhm.
You like happily brought up your kids.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't
Fuck
need kids.
no. My
I
God,
don't
you're
need
gonna
to
go
go.
hang out with your grandsons right now.
I know.
It's
There's no
awesome.
kids.
So thank you for having me on. It was good to see you all.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Jen. Appreciate you always, and enjoy your family and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Are you in Utah right now?
I am in Utah.
So we're not far from each other.
No, honestly, if I would have seen your class a little bit sooner, I may have just taken a 3-day drive up because it's only like 7 hours, maybe.
To Denver?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that
not
far.
too far. The gorgeous drive.
Oh,
Like
I
I,
bet. Utah is so beautiful.
yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe next time. I'll keep an eye out. Next time you're in Denver, let me know and I'll.
Yeah, I'll be here on June 6th for a party we're doing called Terps and Tallow. And then
Okay.
and then I might be here on 7/10, doing a thing with Puffco. So that July 10th.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I like America now.
keep me up to date. I would make the drive to come hang out with you.
I will
I
for
am
sure.
here, America.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
like
America.
you're coming, you're Eddie Murphy every time. I am
I
coming to
love that
America.
movie. That is such a good movie.
That movie
Beautiful.
was such a good movie.
It was beautiful. I also have to jump, everyone. I've had a lovely time with everybody here. Thank
Well,
you.
listen, this is actually, we're gonna call it a day here, actually, because I also have to jump. Because I gotta go get my charger and then I gotta fly home here in a little bit. But I'm
Cool.
glad I pulled off a couple hours. I got a big crew of people here too that I'm kind of keeping. I'm in the main room and they're all like downstairs because I'm up here on Hash Church. So appreciate you guys for doing that. I'm sure some of them are watching right now. It's time for us to get back to some dabs. I want to thank Puffco and the Press Club and Bubble Bags and Kyle from the Reserve. I want to thank you, buddy. Thank you for the last week. It's been amazing. Space is insane. There's definitely no better place to hang out and chill in Denver. Absolutely baller experience. Definitely worth it for those of you that are coming out to Terps and Tallow on June 6th. I will see you here. In the meantime, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Etienne and Jen and Caleb and Colin and Archive, Fletcher Rooney. Appreciate everyone. Thanks Scott for coming on earlier from Puffco and Scully Vibes. And yeah, geez, I could go on and on and on and on and on. But I won't. So thank you everybody. We will see you next weekend where I should be. I'm having a new group on, so it'll be a unique panel, and it's going to be about these filters, these new joint smoking filters, which is neat that I even get to try anything new that has to do with joints, because I smoke joints now. How about that?
I love
I
that
smoke
for you.
joints. Isn't that crazy, Jen?
I love that for you. They're such an experience that you really just need to like. That's great.
Well, listen, and even I've only been smoking normal joints lately, but a couple days ago, my partner was like, "Hey, man, like try this." So I smoked this joint. It was like a 0.7, but I guess it had 0.1 of bubble hash in it. It was actually really nice. And I go to him, I'm like, "What is that?" And
Oh, snap.
he's like, "They're Bubble Man infused joints." I'm like, "What are you?" I'm like, "Dude," he's like, "Yeah, dude, you're smoking joints now, man. This is a skew we got to do." I'm like. I'd smoked the joint. My whole team smoked the joints. We all loved them. We didn't know. And so it was kind of an easy, like, fuck, I guess we're going to be releasing some infused joints into the Colorado market.
I
Should be
love
fun.
that.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Hash Church. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. See if
Peace,
I can.
everybody.
Peace. I can't figure this out. Oh, there,
Yes,
now I
yes,
did.
you can. I believe in you.
Peace.
We believe in you.
I can't figure it out. Enjoy the day,
Go have
guys.